Go on, then you can do intros to the show.
All right, cool, fine. I got you.
Mhm.
Well, the grits aside, let me take a drink of my coffee. Wet my whistle with some Black Rifle Coffee Company because we just finally got some in. They didn't have it for a while, so yay. Anyway, welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a show where we give you tips, tricks, and
You don't have to read that. Put that in every week.
What? Oh yeah, tips, tricks, and
Oh, he's gonna ignore me
guides, and we try to have fun, and we inform people of things that we come across. Sometimes they're
anyway. Why are
good.
you
Most
still
of the
doing the
time,
intro?
they're because you told me to.
No, you don't need to do that. Just like open the show. That was all you needed to do.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted me
know,
to do the whole intro
Who
and
we
everything
are,
like that.
who our guest is, and welcome to the show, kind of thing.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
A show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more.
What makes us different? Well, for starters, we're not streamers or YouTubers. We just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 info, news, and opinions.
We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com or on Twitter at twotitans_hunter.
Now, on with the show.
Say something, Demon.
Cheesecake. No cheesecake.
Well, I can see you talking. I don't know why Gator's saying no audio.
No,
I
but
can
can
see
you
me
hear me
talking.
talking?
Yeah,
You can't
I
see
mean-
me talking. You can hear me talking.
I can hear you talking, but I'm talking about inside OBS. I can see you talking. Me? Can't hear me?
I'm thinking, where's he put the camera in my room to see me talking? I definitely haven't got anything switched on.
Can't hear. What?
Th-
Hold on. That is unacceptable.
I just turned on your stream. It is still working on my
Don't
end.
give him more views. Just don't do it.
Oh, they're messing with me. Okay.
Don't give him more. Don't make him an actual streamer, so you have to change the intro to the podcast.
Oh, we've got to change the intro at some point. Now that we put stuff
Now
up
you
on
stream it,
YouTube
yeah.
and he streams.
I
We're
don't
not professional
stream.
YouTubers or streamers.
See, yeah, that's why I was like, nah, it's fine. You don't have to change it. I don't believe that is the face of a professional streamer right now. It's fine.
Wow. Stand by. Oh,
What are we standing by for?
they're all saying they can't hear me. That's so freaking weird.
Can we keep the swearing to I'd say minimum, but nothing this week, so it saves
didn't
me edit
curse.
time. You did.
I did not.
You
Respawn.
did. There was an
I didn't.
F in there.
No, there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
No,
See,
there
this is worrying
wasn't.
when you don't know when you're doing it.
No, there wasn't. All right. Cranky says he can hear all of us too. You know what? All of y'all. How about that?
See, there's another.
Yeah. That is the letter A. Okay?
Yes, but
Actually,
it stands for
it's
something,
not
and
even the
people
letter
understand what.
In the chat,
People understand that.
it's spelled EFF, okay? So it's not even just the letter A, it is EFF. Nah! Biscuit. It would be nice
Biscuit's
if I could hear
fine.
you.
People don't know what biscuit means.
See? I told you it was your fault. You had the browser muted. Sons of biscuit. Okay, anyway, fair enough. That's sorted. They were lying to me. Everything is fine. Okay. So, this week on Two Titans and a Hunter, all right, we have a Titan. We have a Hunter. But we are short a secondary Titan. Why? Because Peroty says he doesn't love you anymore. I know. I was shocked too. I thought you guys were his whole world, but he said, you know what? They don't even matter to me. My wife is important to me, which I get, but he didn't say he loves her more than y'all. He says he doesn't love y'all at all. And I don't understand the change of heart. I really don't. But either way, he's decided to not be here this week. And not ARF has done the same thing. But, I mean, it's not ARF, so...
They've chosen life over death, basically.
Whatever. They've both chosen to not be here. They decided that you weren't important enough. But me, I'm always here. Even if I can't talk, I'm here. If I'm on a plane, I'm here. If I'm driving, I'm here because you guys mean everything to me. All right? There's nothing more important than the Respawn Army. And I respect it, and I'm glad that you guys are here and you show up every week. So, that is why we don't have ARF, and that is why we don't have Peroty. Sad face. Yell at them when you get the chance to. Okay. We also have a guest this week. His name, at least here, is HurriKane Project. He has a tendency to change it based on where he's at. So what is the overall name you choose to use, Mr. HurriKane?
I don't know where you ever got the idea of changed my name, but yes,
Mhm.
I do just use HurriKane or HurriKane Project.
Okay. And what do you mean?
I main a hunter.
You main a
Ah.
hunter. So this week it is
This
two
is why you've
hunters
been
and a
invited on the
titan.
show.
No,
This
not
is why
for
you've
the
been.
I actually didn't
I
know he
started
mains
as
hunter.
a
I'll be
warlock.
honest with
No,
you.
you didn't. You didn't
I didn't.
know he
I
was
didn't
a
know.
hunter. No,
I didn't.
I started as a warlock. Don't worry.
Yeah, no,
Look,
actually,
there's
because
no prejudice from
whenever
me
I've played with
whatsoever.
him,
I see the
look,
sides.
when I've played
I
with him,
always see
he's
the
played
writing
all
on the
three
wall before
classes.
he kind of
I
gets
never
going.
bothered to ask what his main was, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, no, Nitedemon, he hasn't asked anyone but Hunter mains on the show. It's okay.
Booyah.
No.
That's not true. We've had some warlock mains. I mean, look at Nollis, right? Okay. So,
So,
how
where did you get your name from?
This?
Is it from HurriKane, the legendary English footballer?
No, though,
No.
that is a great footballer. I do agree. Oh man, he's been retired for a while now, hasn't he?
Hopefully not. No.
Is that one, or am I thinking about an older one?
David Beckham's retired. It doesn't sound like anything like Harry Kane, but yeah.
No, David Beckham sounds like somebody tried to throw punch a Jack in the Box.
Oh
That's
no,
all right.
no, this
You're
is a different one.
forgiven. English
I'm thinking of a
footballers.
different
I couldn't
Okay.
name. I couldn't even name one American football player apart from John Madden, probably.
I only follow
Or no,
one
actually, no. I
American
could.
player.
I
No,
could name
that's
Dan
not.
Marino.
No, that is football, not football. We
I could
we
name
have an
Dan
Amer-
Marino. I know him because he's in Ace Ventura. So
Oh,
There's
okay,
only
that
one
way.
football team I actually follow, which is AC Milan. And they're finally
Okay.
good again. That's all I will say. Then, yes.
Mm,
sorry. Yes, your name.
yeah. What was your
Yes.
inspiration?
It originally started as just normal HurriKane project on Xbox. That's where I started, but there was no E on project because it was just too long. And then, come on, as an edgy teenager, you had to change your name at some point. So I took out the numbers and I just used capital K instead, and then it just stuck. I don't know why. Makes it easier for some people that don't like to say a full HurriKane and can just call me Kane if they like.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so moving on. What's first on the agenda for today? This week at Bungie. I did not get it. I thought Peroty was going to get it. Did he post it?
He did, yeah. So next
Okay.
week.
Next week. Sorry, not this week.
Next week in Destiny. It's the final week of Festival of the Lost, so claim your free emblem from the Bungie rewards page. So we did go over this a couple of weeks ago. So if you've linked your Bungie.net account to the Bungie store, you can go to the Bungie rewards page and pick up a new emblem that's only available for Festival of the Lost. Make sure you're collecting your pages because you want that lore, don't you, Respawn? And all the lore.
Well, I did it for the show, which apparently I'm
I know
not
you
even
did.
allowed to read it now. So whatever.
You can read it next week when
I don't want to
everyone's
read
back.
it next week. It's not going to mean as much. It meant
It
something
is.
yesterday.
People will
No,
still love it. People will love the
No,
lore. People love
doesn't
the lore.
matter. Doesn't matter.
And you
It's
can
making
boost your
something up.
Vanguard ranks next week when the Vanguard strikes return for the, boosting kind of thing. So that also includes Nightfalls. If you want to do Nightfalls and GM Nightfalls, you can destroy your opponents in Clash. And as Peroty's not here to tell you about Clash, that is just basically 6 players versus 6 players. No capture zones, just kill everything. Kill everything that moves. Shoot at everything that moves. Or shoulder charge everything that moves.
Yeah, fair enough.
Good.
Fair
And we
enough.
can also save Sadia in the Corrupted Nightfall. So that's our GM for next week. And they have kind of tuned that. There are a few patch notes that we can kind of cover later on. I think Peroty's actually recorded it, which I'll insert later on. But yeah, so that's what's happening next week in Destiny. There's no Iron Banner. So there's that.
That means that there is going to be. Oh yeah, there's no Iron Banner because there's double. What is it called for trials? Is it still Valor?
No, there's an actual trials booster. If
Okay.
The
that's what you're
trials
talking
boost
about
is
for
this weekend,
Yes,
and
that
then
is
next
this
week
Right.
it's Vanguard. So if you haven't got your ornament for your Ascendancy rocket launcher, or if you haven't got your Ascendancy rocket launcher, next week would be the best time to do that in Strikes if you are playing Strikes or Nightfalls. And don't forget, you have to play through, reset your rank. They give you another Ascendancy rocket launcher if you haven't already got it,
And
then
then
have
you
to
get the skin.
then you have to go back through again. So yeah, I found that out about the hard way when I did the Gambit thing last week. Was it this week? I can't remember.
I
It's
don't
all
know.
rolled
What
into
was it?
one.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, at least it is free shards for those that need them. If you're
Yes,
or
it's
as me and
7 of them.
Respawn are. You
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
get 6 what do you call it? Enhancement cores.
Oh, yeah, enhanced course. That's what I meant.
Because it is
Oh yeah. When
it
you
is
shard it, yeah.
fully upgraded or masterworked.
Yeah.
Indeed. I've been saving my stuff up, and now I have a whole whopping 50 enhancement cores and like 400 legendary shards. I'm getting up there. Next week I'll be right where you are with your 2,500 million, which is amazing. You get that many shards considering how you save everything. How do you get shards? What do you dismantle to get your shards from if you save everything?
Me,
Yeah.
I've only got like 750 shards.
Oh, Peroty must
I
have
did
all.
have, I did have loads and loads of shards, but then with infusion and buying different things, because I'm trying to plan for the Witch Queen, so I've kind of used up things to buy other resources. But just playing the game, I get loads of other resources, and I think, like I said last week when I was playing, I don't know what, I think I was doing the Haunted Lost Sectors last week, and just doing kind of that and the pages and Gambit, and I'd kind of doubled what I was originally on. I think I started on like 150, then I was up to 350, and now I'm up to 750. So yeah, I'm getting back up there.
Oh, there you go. And what about you, HurriKane? Are you wealthy in terms of shards?
About 2
Cores?
weeks ago I was poor, but now I'm back near 1,000 after a week.
Okay, what is your secret, Padawan?
You just play the
Or
game, my guys.
Obi-Wan? Not Padawan.
play the game. Don't play Gambit. Gambit gives you the worst rewards. Always blues, even on double reward weekends, even with the Ghost Gambit mod on, Prosperity mod.
But
You
blues
still
don't
get
give you
nothing. No,
the
blues only give you Glimmer.
yeah.
So that's why I'm saying don't do Gambit for it. Play some Crucible. Play your Nightfalls. Play your
Okay.
GMs.
I don't condone him saying play Crucible, guys. That is his opinion. We don't condone that kind of talk here. All right.
I condone it.
I did not say Trials. I said Crucible.
Same thing.
No, very different. Much. Different.
Yeah, I know.
So we seem to have another guest. AZ, please unmute yourself.
I thought he was gonna come in for the
Hello.
rant.
Hello.
He decided to come in early with his bathroom mic.
It's not a bathroom, is it?
It sounds like you're down a well, Timmy.
I told you.
I mean, I'm in a room that could be the size of a bathroom. I don't think it's that bad.
There's an echo.
There is.
There's a bad echo.
Is it like terrible?
I mean, it's not great. That's why, I was gonna be like, you want to come in for the rant or whatever, but you decided to pop in early, so I guess this is where we live now.
Yep, this is the time we live in. Crazy times.
So Respawn, please introduce your second guest of the week.
He's already been here before. It's AZPlayz. He's well, he used to be a hunter main. Now he's a
Yeah, I'm a
warlock main.
hunter. I am a hunter. I have not played my warlock in like 3 months.
3 months, yeah.
I
He's a
played it
warlock
for
main.
GMs. I only played it for GMs at the end of last season. That was it.
Funny enough, though, this hunter main seems to agree with everything anti-hunters say. And pro warlocks.
No.
He agrees with everything pro warlock. So if he is a hunter, he's a very confused one.
What mic have you got, AZ?
Astro A10.
Oh, he's using a headset.
Yeah.
I see.
Well, that's not a new mic then. You said I've got a new mic.
This is a new one. My old one was very bad. This is a much better one.
In whose opinion is it a very better one?
Everybody I've played with.
Yes,
voice
but this
says,
isn't. No, this isn't playtime. This is podcast time.
Yeah.
well, even
No,
everybody said it's
he
much
does.
better.
He does sound different. In game. Now I don't know what's different between in game and now, but oh god, my mic's not
Respawn
working.
actually recommended this one.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
but
mine worked.
Hey, mine
I'm-
works too. I got it to
Fair.
work.
We can hear you. That is accurate.
yeah, but it sounds like you're in an echoey room.
Yes, I believe it's not your mic. It is probably just the room you are in.
Yeah,
Mm.
which doesn't help. Anyway, so welcome to the show, AZ. Another hunter. So 3 hunters and 1 titan this week.
I don't count
Uh,
AZ as a hunter.
Okay, you can, just because I don't agree with Respawn doesn't mean I'm not a hunter.
That's exactly what it means.
No, you all 3 of you are hunters, and I know you're here to just gang up on me. But I'm going to continue on with the beginning part of the show to tell people information so that we can get that bit done. Then, if it gets to the point where they want to just bypass all the twaddle that you lot come out with, then they can. I'll
Twaddle.
put show notes in and timestamps and stuff.
Every time you say twaddle, you remind me of that song with the duck that asks if you have any grapes. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that
No
one.
idea.
Duck walked up to him and
It just goes waddle, waddle, waddle. You got any grapes? You know,
No.
none of that. Okay.
I can tell you, next week is our final week of challenges. I got it wrong. I thought week 9, and then I went back and had a quick look on light.gg, and we do have a week 10's worth of challenges. So, final week of challenges so far, unless they add any other into the database. We have Techian's Cunning. Fully upgrade the Barrier Breach, True Sight, and Safe Passage abilities. So, True Sight is upgrade 2, Barrier Breach is upgrade 2, and Safe Passage is upgrade 2. So, I believe that's you. As you go through your Wayfinder's Compass, you can upgrade that in the helm. And one version, like the True Sight, will give you like 15 seconds. Then when you upgrade it, through just clicking on the nodes, it upgrades it to about 35 seconds. And the same for the Barrier Breach and the Safe Passage. So if you've already done that, hopefully that should be retroactive and autocomplete because you've already done it. And that will give you Challenge XP++ and Wayfinder Compass calibration levels. Now, these Wayfinder's Compass calibration levels also give you an engram in the top right corner. So go and check that out if you haven't checked those out, because that may be another way of getting some more loot from this season. So, yeah, check that out. Ascendant Quickening. Complete the legendary Shattered Realm activity in under 25 minutes. And that will give you Challenge XP Plus and the Wayfinder Compass calibration. Now, these legendary Shattered Realms, I did one this week. And I did it solo, and I did it solo flawless. I did record it, but where it went over an hour on my recording, it cut off at the hour mark, and I didn't realise for about 5 minutes. So it's if I do include
were you
it
recording
in,
on the Xbox?
yeah, I was recording on my USB for the YouTube version, and I got to the final room, hadn't died, and then I realised that I was like an hour and 15 minutes into this legendary Shattered Realm, and the video had kind of cut off. So then I clicked record again, so I've got the end part of it. But I did do it solo and flawless. My God, it took me about, I think it was an hour and 35 minutes to do it solo. So these things aren't a joke. So if you're going to do the under 25 minutes one, I'd take in a team with you.
What are you talking about?
The Shattered Realms. You know, there's a legendary version of the Shattered Realm these days. You can select.
That. Okay. No,
Yes.
I blanked on what the Shattered Realm was because I'm in Halloween mode right now. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, I got you. I'm tracking.
So yeah, an hour and 34 minutes I think it took me to actually complete it. But I was so pleased with myself. I thought, what am I going to get for doing it solo, flawless? Nothing.
Diablo? Nothing?
No. Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. If you complete it solo, you have to complete it flawless anyways, because there is no lives or respawns.
Well, you can die in between, and
Can-
if you do,
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's only
yeah, and
one
if you
during-
die during each encounter, it'll just reset you back to the beginning of each
Yes.
encounter.
That's right.
But yeah, I thought there may be a hidden triumph. There wasn't. There was just a triumph for doing it solo, which is one of the ones for this season. And then I think the other one for the season is to do all 3 of them on legendary difficulty. I gave up last week's one because I couldn't find a team to actually do it, because I thought it was a lot harder to try and solo the Scorn one than it was this week's one. And I found Ibontis did a really good video, which I'll include in the show notes. But I found when you do like the high version, which is this week's one, when you align the first beacon, if you go over to the right, you can take out some of the hive knights and things and wizards that are over on the right, and then you can literally stay just down the side of the platform, and there's some stairs that you can kind of walk up and take out some of them. When the ogres come along, you can kind of hug the wall. There's kind of a little lip that you can kind of just jump up, kill the ogres, and then when the unstoppable ogre comes, it kind of just walks to the edge and just looks over the edge. Can't hit you, but you can kind of just kill it quite easily. So I used Tiku's divination, the tarantula linear fusion rifle, and an auto rifle for the barrier champions. So that went well. And then in the second area, I found that you could kind of hide way over at the kind of back area behind some rocks to kind of take out everything, so it wasn't that hard. And then in the final area, it was kind of just stay down by the steps, dodge, jump up one side, throw up a grenade, killed like the knights that were there. I used an arc titan with double grenades to take out the arc shields, because it's arc and solar that you need in the hive area. But yeah, I mean, it just took time, and I realized, I thought, if I'm in that final room, and normally when you play it normal version, there's just so many enemies all over the place. I'm thinking, if I take out these enemies, do they just automatically respawn? They don't, but I think the boss is in kind of 3 health gates, so you can kind of take him down in 3 parts, and each time he will spawn new enemies, and you just kind of have to be patient and take them out as and when. So worked for me. So you can
As
kind of
and
do
when
it.
what?
What?
You said take them out as and when. As
Yeah.
and when what?
As and when you can, because there's a lot of the knights are throwing down those throwing down huge arc explosions. You've got a witch that's flying around over the back throwing arc at you. You've got the normal kind of hive throwing those big solar balls out at you that just explode on the ground and burn you. And then you have the boss that does that kind of witch's haze that you can get.
The black misty stuff.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you can tell when he's going to do it, he kind of raises his arm up and does it, so you can kind of jump out the way. But yeah, it was quite difficult to kind of try and get out of that. But once you whittle down the enemies, I found it a lot easier to then take out. Every time you took out the witch and you didn't go and stand in the pool of whatever it is to kind of debuff the boss, they would just send out another witch. So I kind of get the witch out of the way, jump up, take out a few knights, jump back down, and do it like that, and then slowly take them out. And Tiku's was amazing because with the auto tracking on that and the explosions that you can get, so that did help as well. But yeah, it was good fun. It was a good test of trying to get through things. I kind of, when I try and do like solo dungeons and things, I kind of panic once I get past a certain area, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm doing so well, and then I end up dying. I still can't do the one in
You
the Dreaming
panic
City.
because you're doing so well?
Yeah, I get to the point I'm panicking. Like even with doing this solo floors, there was one point where one knight came just charging down the stairs. They don't normally come charging down the stairs, and it was lucky that I had a panic super that was my arc one that I kind of slammed the floor. But if he'd have hit me a second time, I'd have been dead. And it was only for the pure fact that I had a panic super that I could get out of it. But I kind of, yeah, I leave myself too much in harm's way sometimes. I don't kind of play it too safe, although I was kind of playing it safe.
It must be nice to have a panic AoE, I kill everything around me super.
Yeah, hunters might have one that they could use, or 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Void top tree.
Blade
Yeah.
Barrage, Arch Strider even.
Thank you, hunters, for sticking up for me there.
I don't see
Anyway.
how any of the voids is a panic super, but okay. Sure.
It gives you
Bottom
damage
tree.
reduction. Damage
Yes.
reduction when you pop it. Anyway,
It's
Top
not
tree also
AoE. It's not
blinds
AoE kill
all of
everything.
the ones
Whatever.
around you, though,
But it
and
still
it tethers
stuns
to all of them.
everything.
Yeah,
It
that's it.
stuns them for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
anyway
After it tethers to them, but
getting back to
whatever.
our challenges for next week. So you've got the Ascendant Quickening one, which is 25 minutes in the Legendary one. Cold Light of Day. Defeat combatants with solo abilities, stasis abilities, or shatter damage. So that'd be a good one for you, Respawn, with Shatter Dive. Rapidly defeating combatants with supers grants bonus progress. So that's 500 ability kills there. And that give you challenge XP++ and Wayfinder Compass calibration. Display of Supremacy.
Just so you know, though, I don't actually use Shatter Dive. I'm
No, but you're
defending
going to
it
have
because
to.
it's not
No,
OP.
this is what I'm saying. You're going to have to
Oh,
get
okay.
this done. Display of Supremacy. Acquire the Vanguard ornament for the Ascendancy. And that is Challenge XP+++, some Bright Dust, and the Plane Strider. And I've no idea what the Plane Strider is, but it's an exotic something. It could be a ship, could be a sparrow, could be an emblem, a ghost shell, anything. Because at the moment in the database it's not showing up. So whatever Plane Strider is, that's what you get for completing that.
Well, a
And then-
plane is, a plane, and then a strider is something that walks across something else, like a water strider walks across the surface of water. So I would assume sparrow, but I could be wrong.
I just looked it up. It is an emblem.
Water strider is an emblem.
Plane
No,
Strider is an emblem.
Plane strider. Sorry.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. See. Thank you very much. And Dreaming
Mhm.
City Defense. Repel Zivaras foothold in the Dreaming City by completing bounties, patrols, public events, and lost sectors. 18 of those, and that will give you challenge XP plus and some Bright Dust. So that's your triumphs for next week. Your challenges.
So no Gambit.
No,
No, Gambit
that
last
was
week.
the good thing about these challenges. There's not one that says that you have to reset your Gambit challenges, but you have to reset it to get the
ornament,
Ascendancy. Yeah, to get the Ascendancy ornament. So they've snuck that one in.
yeah. That was earlier in the week.
Yes, that was last week's week.
Yeah, it was
Was
week
it
8.
week 8?
Yeah, it was week 8.
Yeah, but that was the thing, wasn't it? It wasn't like before we had to. I think it was last season, the season before. It was you had to reset your Gambit rank to get one of those challenges done, and then I believe there was another one that said you had to get the ornament for whichever like Gambit
Malcolm
strikes. Yeah,
I mean,
Yes, there was always the seasonal challenge of getting
But the
every.
problem-
but
yeah,
it's
but the problem with that was that if you'd already reset your rank, or if you'd got like 3/4 of the way, like Peroty had, it didn't take into account what you'd previously done. It'd only take you had to go like through 16 ranks, I believe. So even if you were halfway through, you had to then start at that point when that triumph came up that week, and then go through another 16. So I'm glad that they've actually taken it out so that you can actually, if you get the Ascendancy and the ornament before these come up, it auto completes for you because it knows you've already got it. So that's a better change, I think.
The only problem is the Ascendancy ornament. To get it, you have to basically reset. You have to reset your Gambit Infamy, and then you have to go through it again, like 3/4 again.
Yeah,
Which,
but
for anyone who's
it's a
played
lot
Gambit-
easier now. They've also changed the way that the scoring works. And if you stay in the Gambit playlist and you're on 5 games and you just keep playing, and like I've said before, if you are on that character and you've played like your 5-game streak, you turn it off, you can come back like 2 or 3 days later. As long as you go straight back into that playlist, it will carry on that streak for you. So you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about kind of resetting again. It was only when I was kind of collecting the pages last week that I had to come back out because I'd reached the maximum of 75 pages to then go and do the Haunted Lost Sectors, to then get those pages decrypted, to then go back into Gambit to then start collecting them again. So that was the only time that I ended up having to come out. But I think I did it within 2 days, and it wasn't like 6-hour shifts. It was like 2 days of just playing for like 2 or 3 hours, and I'd reset it. It
I
was a
feel
lot
like-
easier.
I still like the old system where it just says use a certain type of weapon in the certain activity, but then again, it does make sense since it's a rocket launcher, so you wouldn't have to get rocket launcher kills because then Gambit would just be people trying to get the heavy brick.
Well, there is
all the
that.
time.
If you want to do, I believe that we kind of covered this at the start of the season. There's the new
Treasure title, yeah. Or
title. New title,
for
that was it.
Gilding,
Yeah,
yes.
so you can guild your titles like we've talked about, and in that, I believe this season's one is like use the Ascendancy rocket launcher in Gambit, but also I think in the Deadeye perk, which is the new one, not perk, Deadeye Triumph or seal that you can get this season. I believe that if you go on that, you can guild that also this season, even if you have completed it. And I think that says that you have to use this season's ritual weapon to get kills with as well.
Yeah, but to get the ornament, you have to reset your Gambit Infamy, which is already a hard thing, not a hard thing to do, but it's annoying to do even to casual
annoying, yeah.
players. And then you have to basically go through the entire track again just to get the ornament.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, I see what
really-
you mean as last season's challenges were reset your rank, whereas this season it's almost reset your rank twice for a challenge, but
it's
Yeah, like
easier
you-
to reset your rank twice this season than it was last season or the season that those were implemented.
yeah, so if you play on that
it still would have been nice though for like once you get the Ascendancy rocket launcher from the source of your choice, all the other that source
Yeah.
that
All the
source
others
that you
should have
got
just
it, you
become
have
the
to
ornament.
Reset it.
Yeah.
And the one that you got it on, you had to reset it and get it because obviously you liked that one more.
Yeah.
Than the others.
But then you do get, like HurriKane was saying, that you do get the added bonus of getting enhancement shards or cores. You get the enhancement cores and some glimmer and some shards for it. So
and it also drops at your current light. So if you're 1330, that's another 1330 that you could have used to upgrade other things or to another character even. So it is actually not too bad of a thing.
I guess that makes more sense what I was talking about. Yeah, I guess there's a little bit more reward behind it. The only problem is the time commitment that I find a problem with.
What, you don't like Gambit?
No, not really. Not solo.
Come on, it's the best.
Gambit solo, there's no issue with solo.
Yeah, I played with Joker for like an hour, 2 hours Gambit, and I only got like 2 rank ups. I went from like 1,000 to 3,000. Infamy.
You gotta win, dude.
No, you
We
don't
were
have to win.
winning.
You don't even have to win.
Yeah,
now.
but the
You just
winning
play
gives
the
you more
games.
points.
No, it doesn't.
What?
Like, I played pretty much a lot of Gambit this season, and I'm only at 4,400 right now.
No,
I
no,
played
back up. Winning should give you more points. If winning
No.
does not give you more points, WTF.
Taken that
I've
out of
won-
the game.
I've won at least 21 games. I've played at least 30 games this
No,
season.
they took it out because people were complaining that people that were just on stacked teams and were just winning over and over and over again, it was so hard to go in as a solo player. So they changed the way that it works out, which is why you just go in and you play, like, I think it's the 5 games, you get the 5 streak, and then you just get a big chunk of bonus each time that you play.
Well, you know what? He brings up a good point. Bungie, you've added these solo playlists to everything else in the damn game. Give a solo playlist to Gambit.
Wait, that doesn't mean
That
No,
I
it does
mean-
make sense because you won't end up against stacked teams. You'll have an equal chance of winning as you do losing.
Well, even if you're up against this, even I've seen randoms that can get their primeval up when we still have 20 motes as 2 or 3 stack. It's all about their coordination mainly, or not even coordination.
Yeah,
just
agreed. But
skill.
Quick tip on
I
Gambit:
mean-
don't bank first. Never bank first nowadays. You'll always win if you don't bank first.
yeah, because that first guy banks, and then the other team banks two blockers. Which
No,
drain
that's
the
not
first
true,
guy's health.
HurriKane. I bank first immediately to bait the other team to bank theirs. So I'll bank a 5, wait for them to send theirs over, shotgun the other 2 down or whatever to get their 2 or 3 out of the way, and then by that time my team are back over and depositing.
You're
That's my
putting a
strategy
lot
as a
of
solo
faith in
player.
blueberries.
It
Yeah,
can
that's what-
work, but it is very harsh because depending on the invader that invades with Eyes of Tomorrow, 99% of the time sometimes.
That's me.
Yes, but I use myself as a human shield because at that point I've taken out the
Yeah.
blockers. I then go and find whoever's kind of come in and throw myself at them, literally, so that if they are using rockets, there's a 99% chance that they'll explode as well. If I'm
I'm
that
with
close.
HurriKane on this one. I'm a firm believer of.
You have to play the
second.
solo version of Gambit. There are ways of playing it so that you can help manipulate your team into
I'm
actually
not saying
winning.
there isn't, but still, I would say don't bank first, even if you're solo. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
it's risky because you're putting a lot of faith in your team. You know, full stop. I was gonna say, I was gonna have a follow up, but no. I mean, you're just putting a lot of faith in your blueberry team.
Yeah.
You know,
What's the
So-
issue with that?
blueberries are the issue with that.
Yeah, blueberries will go and collect their motes. They will get 15 and then they will come over and deposit.
They'll also die
They'll die.
and drop 15.
Yeah.
They'll
You can't
shoot a
help
red
that.
bar with their
No,
rocket
you can't help that.
launcher.
That's what we're saying. That's why you don't dunk first. You let them dunk first.
Do
You kill them,
bait the
and
other
then
team?
dunk.
You bait
Oh
the
my-
other team first.
Bait your face.
Just be the gambit god that every team needs. Is all I have to say.
Right.
Get your
Look,
15.
I'm doing my best, but I can't carry 3 people against this 4 stack.
Then you're not doing your best.
You
Oh,
can
I
carry.
am. I
You
can't
can
deal
carry
with
my.
people who are using double special alongside a linear fusion rifle or whatever. I can't carry those guys.
You can.
Bastion is in
It's
Hunter
just like asking me to
Stasis.
carry
It works.
anyone to flawless, even though I can't do that.
I believe in you. You just don't believe in yourself, and that's your problem.
I can tell you what you can do though, AZ. You can solo these legendary lost sectors to get
Oh,
stuff.
yes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
next week on the 25th, Monday, we have the K1 Revelations on the Moon, which will give you your legs. Tuesday the 26th will be the Concealed Void on Europa, and that'll give you your arms. Bunker E15 will be on Wednesday on Europa, and that'll give you your chests. Perdition on Europa on Thursday will give you your helmets. Bay of Drowning Wishes on Friday on the Dreaming City will give you your legs. Chamber of Starlight, also on the Dreaming City, will give you your arms on the 30th. And then on Halloween, Aphelions Rest on the Dreaming City will give you your chest,
Halloween. This is Halloween. Pumpkin.
which is on a Sunday, which my kids are really excited about. We're gonna go out trick or treating. I promised them last year, but couldn't because of lockdown. And finally, on the 1st of November, the Empty Tank Tangled Shore Lost Sector will be helmets, and that is your Monday to Monday Lost Sectors.
There you go. For you hunters out there that are looking for a better roll of Bactrius, there you go.
Yes, I am. You know I am for that 3 100s and a 90.
That is insane. So, we were talking about this the other day, but I don't think you saw it in the chat, Demon. Remember how the other day I asked, can you get 400, like 4 100s, mathematically speaking, in this game? And this dude has 3 100s and a 90. I'm like, damn.
If I get the right Mask of Bakris, that is.
Damn.
It is still RNG based, but if I did get a better
Still.
Mask of Bakris, it
That
is
nutty.
possible to get 3 100s and a 90. I did the math. I don't think you can get any higher.
I think Crazy Mr. Pips has done several little videos on like getting triple and quadruple stacks of 100 with different builds. But yeah, it is literally RNG, isn't it? With getting them in the right places.
And the exact correct numbers is the other problem. Is like
Yeah.
you can have like 102 mobility, and that's going to suck because that means one of your other things might be 98, and it's like
Yeah. So, would you like to know what's happening in Eververse next week, guys?
No,
Our
but I
final
don't think
week.
we can avoid it.
How much more do I need to pay Bungie? This
Well,
is what I'm hearing.
it depends. Depends on how much Bright Dust you've saved up. So, for Silver next week on the 26th of October,
But
week
it's already
10. If you missed it a couple of years back, we have the Prankster dance, which is the Pennywise dance from the new It film. If you're missing that, that will be for 1,000
Oh,
silver.
that's the creepy one where the head is completely still, but the body's
The head's
doing
still,
this
but the
thing.
body moves. Yeah, as he dances.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Yeah, I showed you that one the other day.
Well, I have that one. It just nobody ever uses it anymore.
I think we bought it for silver the first time round.
Absolutely.
It is only for silver. We have the Lepiditira ship, which was the ship that was up the first week for Bright Dust. So if you missed it then and you like the look of it, I don't, but it's going to be available for 800 silver next week. And if you missed the Skitter Scare, which is the Spider Sparrow that you can get this week currently for Bright Dust. So Bright Dust this week is 2,500. Next week, if you miss it, it will be for 800 silver. And then we have the Pumpkin Dance, which is a legendary dance emote, and that would be for 500 silver. And then for our Bright Dust, we have the Calavera shell, which is the lovely one that was featured a couple of twabs back with all the Day of the Dead ornaments or decoration on it. That will be for 2,850 Bright Dust. We have the
silver.
Yeah, well, it's been available for silver for like the last couple of weeks, just not on the featured page.
Oh, it's for Bright Dust.
For Bright Dust, yes.
I thought they said they weren't. I thought they said it was only to be silver. Yes, I was wrong.
Nope. They said it will be available for Silver and Bright Dust in the final week. We have the Halted Oblivion, which is the sparrow that is shaped like a witch's broom with a cat on it that it looks like it's frostbitten. That would be for 2,500 Bright Dust. We have the Batwing Entrance, which is one I'm going to get. It's 450 Bright Dust. We have the Archeon Skin, which is another shader, for 300 Bright Dust. The Pumpkin Dance will also be available for Bright Dust next week for 700 Bright Dust. We have the Necromancer Dance for 700 Bright Dust. The Fettered Shell, which is the green ghost shell with the chains on it, which is going to be for 2,850 Bright Dust. The Winchester's Ruin, which is a exotic sparrow, and that's 2,500 Bright Dust. We have the Penguin Mask, which is our final mask to purchase if you've got the one from this week and last week. Well, no, last week. This week, which was the Titan one. So to round out the collection, we have the Penguin Mask, which is 1,200 Bright Dusts. If you are missing the ornament for the Fighting Lion, the Pride Glass, which was available as, I believe it was a drop a couple of Festival of the Lost a couple of years ago. That's going to be available next week for 1,250 Bright Dust.
Is that the
And then
jaded one
we,
for the Fighting Lion, or is there another one that I didn't know about?
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
And then we have the Winged Nightmare Projection for your Ghost, which will be 1,500 Bright Dust. So yeah, that's our Bright Dust next week, our Lost Sectors, our challenges. So I'm kind of done. Respawn.
Yeah.
This week at Bungie.
This week at the Bungo, we look to Trials Freelance Fashion and Pumpkins. Festival of the Lost in full swing. If you haven't donned a mask and earned some candy yet, get to it. Eva has goodie bags, exotic cosmetics, and a refreshed collection of fun masks for you to earn over the course of the event. If you're still on the hunt for a perfectly rolled Jurassic Green pulse rifle, join some friends to jam him out. Luna! You know today's podcast will be making the baby scream.
3 days later.
Jam him out? I said jam him out. Alright. If you're looking for a challenge outside of the festival, we have a few options for you. Grandmaster Nightfall features Exodus Crash this week, sending shivers down the spines of many Guardians who've been with us since Destiny 2 launched all those years ago. The Comedian Shotgun and the Shadow Price Auto Rifle are dropping from Nightfalls this week. If you'd like a shiny Adept version, Grandmaster is the difficulty for you. Shattered Realm and Astral Alignments can also be played at Legend difficulty to round out a few triumphs for the seasonal Realm Walker seal. Sure, you can try to take on the challenge with smaller fire teams or even solo, but we highly recommend forming a fire team before taking the plunge. This weekend will be host to a few things. We have our seasonal trials lab offering at 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, and a few Festival of the Light themed contests to kick off. Trials of Osiris. Freelancers are welcome. In less than 24 hours, Saint 14 will be dabbing another labs weekend for Trials of Osiris. For this round, we will be looking at Freelance. For those that don't know, Freelance is a matchmaking node specifically for solo players. No pre-made fire teams may enter. While players continue to earn Trials reputation and go for a flawless run, this is a separate node that will be located directly above the Trials of Osiris director. Now remember, if you are going in alone, watch your back. There is no telling if your freelance teams will be looking out for you. Find a buddy, move together, and maybe your team will come out on top. Through this Freelance Labs weekend, Trials' reputation will be doubled. If you're rounding out your Trials-specific armor collection or aiming for a good roll on any of the weapons that Trials has to offer, this is a great weekend for you to jam out some rep. Now remember, once you've completed a full card, even if you've lost a game or two, your post-game rewards are increased. Enhancement Prisms, Ascendant Shards, and Trials Engrams all have a chance to drop. Whether you want to focus your engrams and roll a specific reward or just roll the dice, this is the best way to earn Trials loot. Armor drops also have higher chances for better stat rolls. This week also introduced a fresh set of seasonal challenges, including Trial by Firing Squad. To complete it, win 20 rounds over the course of the weekend and be rewarded with a Reed's Regret linear fusion rifle, XP, and Bright Dust. Once you've gotten your hands on Reed's Regret, this also unlocks the ability to focus Trials Engrams for more rolls at St. 14. Good luck this weekend. While there thankfully won't be any spiders clouding your view, I've heard our setting this week is a little spooky. Be careful when you open doors. Could be a normal 1v1 engagement with an opponent, or you could find yourself staring at a bull charging Striker Titan in the face. Just the thought is terrifying to me.
So have you guys actually jumped into the solo trials yet?
Nope.
Not yet, but I plan on doing it
No.
today.
Is that no from everyone?
Yeah.
That is new.
Why are you even guests on this show?
Oh, well, excuse me.
You
I
didn't
had-
say they had to
Hallow-
play it. You
I
didn't make
had
that a requirement.
Halloween. I had a Halloween
Look.
festival yesterday.
The brief is to play game. Come tell us about the game. If you don't
They've
play the
been
game,
playing the
you
game.
can't come.
You didn't say anything about Trials.
Yeah, I haven't played Trials for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And why
Make
haven't you
that a
played
requirement.
trials? Why haven't you
Because
played
I
trials in
got
2 weeks?
bored of it after the first 2 weeks.
Okay. Did you
Well,
go solo
flawless.
flawless, or did you go flawless?
I played
No.
with some friends and I got flawless. And then I got
Okay.
bored because of the loot. I got what I wanted. I got my Shayra's Wrath and I have Soul.
Okay. So you're not a kind of player that likes to go in and just kind of play and just have fun and maybe get
If
something
you're having
different
fun
on
in
the rolls?
Trials,
Or...
I
Well, I'm
suspect
actively
something
trying
happened
to
to
get-
you during your childhood.
I'm actively trying to get my brother up to power so we can do it because
Okay.
I want to get him that stuff.
But once he's
Yeah.
kind of up to power and he's got all the stuff, are you guys going to continue to play it, or is this a game mode that you're not going to be playing?
I don't know. I need to talk to him about it, but he does want to try to get some of the trial stuff.
Okay. I mean,
he's seen me
if
using it.
if you didn't have him, would you continue playing this just for fun?
I'd have to jump back into it because I haven't jumped back into it in a while because I've been busy.
But it is something.
yes,
you
I
might
would,
get
yeah.
back
It's a
into.
yes or no
Yes.
question. Don't
Yeah.
overcomplicate it.
Oh, so what's the map this week?
Cauldron. Doors.
Oh, Cauldron. Doors, and shotguns.
Now, doors, and Jotun is better.
Sounds like one
Doors,
coming
and
up.
Titan, Striker, Striker Titan thing.
Yeah, possibly. HurriKane, what about you with Trials? What's your experience for the last couple of weeks? Or have you played it? Have you enjoyed it? Have you not enjoyed it?
I enjoyed the Trials Labs they put out that first week, but I'd say since then, I went flawless once, but I mostly got carried by a really, really good Titan who was doing the trick on that last week where it was still possible to see how many people were joining. So if you're facing a squad of 3 or 2s or 1s, and so he'd always just do the solo. That's the only way that I've ever gone flawless for the Igneous Hammer. But after that,
Oh, so you went flawless the same week that I did then?
Yes.
So we had the flags and captures.
Yeah, it was. I think even a normal, I got up to 6 one time without actually like getting carried, but then I got destroyed.
That week
and
I
then-
got up to 6 solo, 6 win solo.
Yeah, I think it was a lot more reasonable on solo players. Plus, still a lot of people were playing it that didn't have teams, I feel like. And then I played a little bit last week, but I regretted it instantly because all the sweats were just sitting in the lobbies waiting for their new, or for the god roll of the Messenger Adept and just normal Messenger too. I feel like they're just getting the people who didn't really want to go flawless, just farming for the engrams.
Yeah, I believe Peroty had that same kind of experience. I wasn't able to play had a busy weekend. I may be able to play this weekend to get some experience, but I really want to try the solo playlist because I want to kind of that's what I want to do. I mean, I really enjoyed doing it solo a couple of weeks back and managing to get to the lighthouse, and it was a really good experience, and that hasn't put me off of playing. I think I've got literally everything for all my characters, and I've got all the weapons that I want, but I just want to go back in and play. I just really enjoy playing it. It's something different, something new that I can experience as a solo player. But that's just me, I guess. So, I mean, AZ's got a completely different take on it. He's one of these guys that just wants to go in and get the stuff and come out again and not
Same.
necessarily play it each week. You're the same. But I think Peroty and I like to just go in and play. It's a bit like Iron Banner, I think.
Well, I'd much rather, if I'm gonna play PvP for fun, I'd much rather do something that doesn't rely on like getting wins or not round based. I'd rather have something that's more fluid than having to worry about like, oh, I don't want to get picked so I don't lose, or even if I do lose, even if I don't care about losing, you still got that wait time between games and the rounds.
Did you not find playing? It's a kind of a different way of playing in trials, whereas you were worrying about getting picked. Do you not then take that kind of information into other game modes and use that to your advantage of like, oh, well, I've learned that in trials that, you know, you don't peek here, or you can get a shot here if you're standing here against somebody and somebody may walk around that corner. I can do this, what I've learned. Do you not kind of take that information into other playlists?
No, I do. It's just that, like when I'm playing normal Crucible, I just play Control, or if I need to do Showdown or something, I'll do that. And I do take that information to other places. The thing is that it's much more forgiving if you do the not necessarily wrong thing, but it's much more forgiving if you mess up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I get
So
that.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm a sadist or a masochist or whatever it is. I keep going in.
No,
and
there's
coming
people
up
out there
against
that
these-
genuinely like to play PvP, especially Destiny-based PvP, where you have like superpowers and you get that God mode feeling or whatever. But it's not
Well, I
for me.
like matching up against people of my own skill level or similar skill level, and seeing, you know, how I can beat them, and you know,
Well,
I do like that kind of
the thing
cat and
that makes
mouse
me mad
part of
is
it.
like whenever I play PvP, I instinctively bring in military tactics. Like I'll pie a corner or I'll peek or something like that, right? But in Destiny, you have things like head glitching, where even though like I can only see the very top of your forehead, you and your gun are both peeking up over the stairs and can shoot me, which is so infuriating, you know? And so, of
Is that
course,
not
at that point in
similar
time,
tactics that are in the real world? With
no,
like,
because
your
in the real
military
world, you can see their head and their weapon poking up the stairs, not just the top part of their forehead, you know?
Yeah, but surely there must be ways that people do kind of hide in cover and still have a full view of other people coming around corners
Oh,
and
absolutely.
upstairs.
That's covered, but I'm talking about like if you're standing at the bottom of a staircase in a lot of these PvP maps, right?
Hmm.
Even though I can't see your weapon, I can only
Yeah.
see the top half of your forehead. Your head and your weapon are all above the stair, and you can shoot me, right? So
Yeah.
that's the problem. Is the weapon is able to kill me just because your eyes can see me. You know what I'm saying? And that's aggravating. The weapon should be above the stair. Otherwise, whenever you're in that kind of position where you're quote unquote head glitching, your weapon should shoot into the staircase that you're behind. You shouldn't be able to tag me when from head
But
glitching.
that's not the same? Isn't that the same thing for every kind of PvP kind of game out there?
I don't know. I've only played a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't say for certain.
Most PvP games where you're not viewing it from the point of your
Not
head,
third
you're viewing
person.
it from your chest.
Yeah.
You're viewing it from your chest.
Hmm.
For most games.
Yeah, many games nowadays have actually fixed head glitching, I would say, and a lot of them do have those hitbox registrations or wall registrations now, where everything has like an actual thing, and they try and your camera angle still isn't so much at your head as your chest still, but a lot of games have fixed it nowadays, I feel like.
And that's my thing, is I feel like, the stuff that I've learned in the military to keep me alive gets me killed in trials.
Because you're in the wrong.
Yeah, I'm in the
Is
wrong
there
game.
anything that you think that Bungie could do, guys, that would improve trials or keep you more interested in what you are? Or are you quite happy with what they're doing at the moment and that does keep you interested?
Honestly, I don't think any ability outside of a super should one-shot you.
Not
And I'm not
you.
picking on
I was
Titans.
asking the
I'm
two
not picking
guests.
on. No, I'm including Hunter throwing
You
knives
have
and all
this
that other stuff.
spotlight every week. You can view your opinions every week. These guys are new on the
Fine.
show, so
Well, you didn't specify who you were talking to, so whatever.
I would say improve the matchmaking, because I feel a lot of times they do matchmaking just based on the actual team itself, on like the average KD of the whole fire team, which is still the problem of like when people like me go in, where I can say I'm pretty decent at normal Crucible, but then step into trials and there's always the trials god or his buddy carrying some random guy that has like a 0.3 KD, and so that just drops. I feel like that drops their average so far down from what they actually play that the matchmaking system doesn't detect that, I feel like, half the time.
do you not think with this solo playlist this week that would be the best time to kind of jump in and see how that works out? Because surely with that, it's matching people up against
Yeah,
balancing the skill level.
Yeah.
I think that if they took the highest player level, it wouldn't be very it wouldn't be something you played with your friends, because you'd have to worry about whoever's the highest level. You're like, if you're just trying to play with your friends, like I'm trying to play with my brother, and he's being put up against people that are my skill level, then he's not gonna have fun. And if he isn't having fun, I'm not gonna have fun, most likely.
Yeah, but I think the way that they said they were going to do it, they didn't say they were going to kind of take the best player and put them on one team and then the second best player on another team. They were going to put the best player on one team and then find the next kind of two people or three people that balance it out on the other team for that one player, and then make up the other team on. That's how I believe that they were going to do the matchmaking, either with trials or Iron Banner at one point. They said that that's how they kind of worked it out. It wasn't kind of best player on one, second best player on two, the third best player back on one, fourth best. They didn't split it like that. They were kind of trying to level it out so that if it's you and your brother, that takes that into consideration of maybe giving you a better skilled person, so that it kind of balances out the skill level for what you're playing against.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but him and his
that makes
brother
more
won't be playing
sense.
together because it's solo.
No, but if they were doing, because there's two nodes this week, there's the solo playlist, or if you just want to go and if you want to play the regular trials playlist, you can still go in solo or duos or trio. It's up to you.
Yeah, we'll see. It's not a bad weapon this week to try and get anyways, but
It's linear, right?
nah, it's Soulless Scar.
Which one
It's
is
the
that?
sword this week.
It's the,
Ah.
The sword, yeah.
It's the caster frame sword.
Why is that a good one?
It's just
The
the better
Brawl
caster
Oracle.
frame sword out of any of the
For,
ones we can
for
get.
someone
that
like
aren't
me that doesn't
exotic.
play trials a lot, teach me about the sword.
It's Boltcaster, pretty much.
Does it get different perks than the other ones?
They can get Vorpal on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got some.
That's the main, like, I don't know. I don't want to say the main role that people want Vorpal on. Like, you can also roll a chain reaction, which is another.
Ah,
good
that's
perk.
what it was. I think I
Yeah,
remember
chain
that.
reaction.
Chain
Yeah.
reaction.
Chain
It's the
reaction is the
chain.
card that a lot of people like.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Can you get Vorpal and chain reaction, or is it a one or the other kind of thing?
I believe those are both fourth. Well, I'm looking right now. No, it's because swords only get. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Swords only have perks in their last slot. Really, all the other ones, the first three sections of the sword are always the same, no matter what sword. They don't change. It's only the fourth column on swords that really changes.
So if you were getting that sword, you're getting it looking for the chain reaction, because you can get Vorpal on other weapons,
Yes.
on other swords.
Yeah.
So
You can get it on other swords. You're looking for that chain reaction with Yeah, it doesn't
this-
even matter if it's a heavier. It doesn't specify that.
Is
Yeah,
this the
so
only sword that can get chain reaction? Is that what
it
makes it
is the
special?
only sword that can get chain
Okay.
reaction.
All right. Well, there you go. You heard it here
Worth-
first. Even if you didn't hear it
They
first, you heard it
didn't
here
hear it
first.
here first. It's
You heard
been
it
a
here
word of
first.
advice. You heard it here first.
This
Doesn't
this
count.
is where you heard it first. All right. Right here.
You just keep telling yourself that.
Two Titans and a Hunter. Best podcast NA and EU and SA and AZ and
AU is best
AU.
today.
So next week we have a fashion contest, or this week.
Oh,
sorry,
lovely.
this week we have a fashion contest. So it wouldn't be Festival of the Lost if we didn't have a fashion show. Guardians have been donning masks while hunting for spectral pages and candy. But now it's time to see who can cook up the best costume. Are you interested?
No.
Yes.
Guess you wouldn't be.
After all, fashion is the true end game.
It is, as Peroty would say. So get dressed up. Mask, costume, and badass armor combined are welcome. Create using settings, shaders, and vehicles to get extra points. Group shots are allowed. Post your submissions to Twitter, Instagram, or our community creations portal with the hashtag FOTLF Ashen
Festival of the Law.
Yeah. Festival of the Lost Fashion 2021. So what's up for grabs?
An emblem.
An emblem, the Levante's prize emblem.
The same
And
one you
they'll
get
be
for every other
sharing-
fashion show.
Very beautiful one.
No, it's the old one because they've got the new Threads of Light one, which is different.
Yes, it is very beautiful.
The Threads of Light is for the
Flower
magazine, though,
one?
right? That's the
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Yes, but that's
Is
also
it-
fashion.
Is it the flower?
Yeah. So they'll be sharing the winners through the end of October 31st, 2021, and they're excited for you to trick or treat us with some awesome looks through the end of the month. And if you fancy painting some pumpkins, because I didn't know this was a thing until I saw a lot of other Americans do this. Rather than carve your pumpkins, you actually paint them, which I might try and do with the kids this year. So,
How
in-game
do you
fashion
get a
isn't.
cool glow?
I don't know. I think people just paint them. In-game fashion isn't the only thing we're putting on. How about an art show too? Over the years, we've seen some wonderful creations sprout up around the Festival of the Lost. Some are created with pen and paper, others with digital art programs that cook up some amazing spooky effects. Pens aren't your thing? Out of paper? No problem. Grab a pumpkin and something to carve it with, and here's what you'll need to do. Make some art. Whether it be pumpkin carving, a digital painting, or something handcrafted to show your skills, it's all welcome. Again, you can post your submissions to Twitter, Instagram, or the Community Creations portal with the hashtag FOTL Art Show 2021. And again, there's going to be another emblem that's going to be available, and they'll be showing the winners through the end of October 31st, 2021. If your work is shared, you will have the emblem, which is the chromatic intention. Looks like a blue watery one with some lights from the Death Star on it. Interesting.
Very specifically, the Death Star.
Yeah, you know those kind of rectangular lights that they're kind of. It's hard to describe, but Death Star lights.
Death Star lights it is.
If you're having trouble, they've cooked up some fresh pumpkin stencils for you. So there is the Witch Queen emblem, if you want to try that one out. There's the Bungie shield that you can kind of print out. And then they've got a couple of pictures. There's a Telesto one. Somebody's done a Telesto in a pumpkin. Somebody's carved the crow in a pumpkin. And the
I did
Witch
the
Queen.
tricorn last year.
Fair enough. So is this something that you guys are into? Bit of pumpkin carving or painting?
Not really.
Yeah, I used to be into it, but my wife doesn't really celebrate Halloween, so sad panda.
It's fun, but I try some cool stuff, but it never works out for me. I'm not artistically talented.
What about you? Well, this man over here is painting a whole new bedroom for his kids, so he's got that artistic talent. So we all know he's gonna go all in, aren't you?
Pages.
What? You were just talking about how you was gonna paint pumpkins with your kids this year.
Yeah, saying it and doing it are two different things.
All right.
Look,
Okay.
we don't say things in front of our wife, otherwise it is law, it's mandated, it's done. It's done like now. Get off the podcast and go and do it, kind of thing. So yeah.
Do you live in a prison? Do you need help?
I do.
Oh God.
This is my only mode of communication, and so
Blink
far,
twice if you're in trouble.
144 episodes, and nobody's got my SOS.
He's like this behind the mic, but nobody can see him.
If you piece all of the beginning parts of the podcast, it spells out that I need help. Nobody's come to help me.
Why aren't you guys picking up on my
Well, Arthur's right
messages?
around the corner from you. I'm surprised he hasn't picked up on this, man. What's going on?
Arthur's not around the corner from me. Arthur's
Sure he
like
isn't.
halfway up the country.
And tomato,
Eh.
potato.
All the same thing.
Yeah.
He's like 300 miles away from me. Anyway, this isn't the travel show.
It is absolutely the travel show. It's whatever show we want to make it because we own it.
This is why I need Peroty here each week to keep you under control. Anyway, speaking of Peroty, as I like to do, Peroty has already gone ahead and recorded for me the hotfix that happened at the beginning of this week and the known issues. So
and it goes in right there.
So we've got a couple of changes with the hotfix 3.3.1.1 that Destiny released on Thursday of this week, the 21st of October, so a couple days ago as we record. So the activities in the Corrupted, Nightfall, Strike, everywhere that the Corrupted is, they fixed an issue where the elevator console sometimes couldn't be interacted with. They also fixed an issue where Sadia's shield would regenerate faster than expected on the Nightfall difficulties. So Bungie says, her shields now regenerate based on the health threshold in Nightfalls, just like they do in Direct Launch or the Vanguard playlist. Now, Trials of Osiris had a couple of fixes. First off, capturing zones in the Trials of Osiris will no longer grant you super energy. The Trials of Osiris now restricts access of fire team leaders if they do not have the appropriate gear power level, so super underpowered people shouldn't be able to go in. They've added the tooltip that the artifact power is disabled. Doesn't make any change to actually your artifact power being disabled. They just tell you that it's going to be disabled, so you're not surprised when you go in and your power level looks lower. They fixed an issue that caused the flawless players who reset their ticket to prioritize matching with other flawless players who reset their ticket for the first 2 wins on the new ticket. They fixed an issue that would occur when flawless matchmaking was disabled. And they traveling to the simulated lighthouse will no longer reset to the ritual activity streak. So that's good if you're trying to play things and enjoy that streak. You know, going there won't wreck it. A couple of UI fixes, or I guess one UI fix for Bungie friends. They fixed an issue where the notification toast for one or more pending friend requests could appear blank for some players immediately after character select. And the little notification toast is the pop-up thing saying, hey, you have a friend request. You have a friend request. Which doesn't do you any good if it's blank, so that should be fixed now. In gameplay and investment to your pursuits, they lowered the Step 7 objective of the Forsaken campaign quest from completing 5 spider bounties to 4, so players can reasonably complete the quest in a single day. And that was one of the problems caused by he doesn't have 5 bounties per day, so you would have to take more than 1 day to get this done. In the weapons, they fixed an issue where Demolitionist was not reloading the weapon when a grenade was thrown. They fixed an issue where picking up the relic during the reload animation will result in ammo duplication. Weapons will now correctly reload from reserves. And the Festival of the Lost Weapons, those are Jurassic Green, Braid Tech, Werewolf, and Horror Story, will now drop at a consistent power level. And in Ghosts, they fixed an issue where the Prophecy Ghost shell's ears were not colorful. So now you should have colorful ears on your Prophecy Ghost shell, which I know will make somebody happy out there who noticed it and was very sad. So earlier on Thursday, Bungie released the patch that will smash some bugs. Did you know that spiders aren't bugs? Doesn't matter. Too many legs. In Australia, try to kill you. No good times. So if you missed the patch notes, you should have either already heard them or you're about to hear them, depending where they fall in the show. Player support does have a quick update to cover issues they're still tracking and some more information they'd like to tell us about. So first off, the hotfix 3.3.1.1 is live. It fixes all the things we told you about in the hotfix. They did also want to mention that the hotfix 3.3.03 gives you the Prophecy Ghost shell now taking shaders and the Corrupted Strike the Sadia shield no longer regenerate at an unusually high speed, there's also a bunch of clarifications around the Microsoft and Xbox Silver purchasing through the store. So basically, last week D2 launched through the Microsoft Store for PC, and players on Xbox can also use that same Microsoft account they use on their Xbox at the Microsoft Store on any Windows PC to play D2 with their characters. However, due to the Microsoft website selling product for both Xbox and Windows versions of Destiny 2, players should be really careful when you're going to buy Silver that you're buying it for the correct platform. So Bungie is working with Microsoft to make those names a little bit clearer, but basically right now it's very confusing when you go to buy Silver. So the short version of this is, if the Silver just says Destiny 2 Silver, it's for Xbox. That's it. It's the Xbox version. If you buy Destiny 2 Silver, you can spend it on Xbox. Now, if you have, and Bungie lists this whole thing, 500 silver, 1,000 silver, 5,3. Basically, if there's a number of silver, if there's a quantity of silver in the name, such as 500 Destiny 2 silver, or 3,000 Destiny 2 silver, or 500 Destiny 2 silver, 1,000, 5,000, if there's a quantity of silver in the name, it's for PC. If it just says Destiny 2 silver without a quantity, it's for Xbox. Yes, it's very confusing. It's very silly. So if you're buying silver, just be careful of what platform you're buying it for, because you can't buy it. You can't use it on the platform you didn't buy it for. So you could buy a bunch of silver you can't use, don't want to use, or doesn't really do you any good. So and also with silver bundles, such as Season of the Lost Silver Bundle and the Throat of Atheon Emo Bundle, are also platform specific. So before you go to buy those, make sure you're buying them for the correct platform, or just stick to one platform. Then you won't have to have these confusing things in your brain. You can just say, I play on one platform, and I don't have to think through all this 4D chess to figure this all out. There are a couple of known issues that Bungie lists in this TWAB that we've already talked about in last week's show, so not sure why they're telling us that again. But they did want to remind us that the Scaring Corvus mask still no longer glows. The one-punch finisher still no longer makes a sound. The German name for the heir apparent, still incorrect. Surplus and overflow in German, still translated the same word. But they do mention two new things. These Scorn snipers are unintentionally draining energy from Titan banner shields in PvE activities, and that some players do appear invisible or are visually loading longer for extended periods of time. They don't say where, just throughout the game, this is happening. So there are two new things they wanted to bring to our attention, and a number of things they've already told us. And as always, we'll link to the known issues article, so if there's a thing you see, go check it out. If it's a bug you think Bungie might not be aware of, see if it's on that list. If not, report it to them in the help forum, and they can get on trying to fix it. And that's been your player support report, and now you know, and now you feel supported. Or if not, you should.
Thank you, Peroty, for that insightful insight.
Yeah, thank you very much, Peroty, for taking the time to do
Thank
that.
you.
Indeed.
You don't get to thank him. We get to thank him.
Hey, I can thank him. You can't stop me.
I can, because I can
think he
mute
just
you
did,
and I
and
can
he can
cut
edit
the
you out.
podcast.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
thank
absolutely
you.
can. Yeah.
Well,
Now you know what I got to deal with all the time. I have no idea what's going to make it into the show.
Yes, Nitedemon has all the power.
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have all of it. You can't stop me from talking in Discord.
Actually, he can do that too.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, I'm guessing he has the moderator role.
Bro, are
of some
you
sort.
trying to get banned? I mean, what's your goal?
I think
here?
he is. I think he is.
I mean, I wouldn't have to talk to you, Respawn, anymore. And have
Well, you didn't have
threaten
to come in to
ban me.
begin with. I can show the chat how you
No.
begged to get in.
I didn't. I just asked, hey, can I check my mic? And you're like, sure. It's like, oh, your mic sucks. I mean, it does, but...
Hey, I will say I turned you down to I think about 40% on Discord. You sound a lot better. You're a little quiet now, but the echo, I think it's largely that you're just very loud.
So we've come to the end of the TWAB, but they do note at the bottom that the team has been hard at work over the last few months planning some special things for the 30th anniversary release. Not just in content, but also some quality of life updates. So Cosmo and I, so this is DMG, have been responding to a few questions here and there about bug fixes, like pass on Doom Archer's Chain Lightning, aim assist tuning from the Vex, which will help keep the weapon viable in PvE whilst addressing some PvP concerns, and even a fix for those pesky Valor overflowing screens that occasionally pop up in the middle of your Crucible match. Our upcoming patch is more than just bug fixes, though. the team has been able to squeeze a little time out for other bits of exotic weapon tuners as they transition full focus onto the Witch Queen. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't a full season's worth of buffs, but a handful of fun things to give some exotics a fighting chance in a given Guardian's loadout. I've heard whispers of a few changes that have already got me thinking about switching up things. I've seen a few previews of upcoming exotic ornaments that I just need to get my hands on. The end of November, early December is the target for the full write-up from this sandbox-centric team, so stay tuned until then. We've got some spiders to dodge and pumpkins to carve. Cheers, DMG04.
Is this confirmation that Arbalist is finally getting its barrier rounds?
Possibly.
Possibly. There was also some YouTubers out there that were specifying the way he used the word whispers, that the whisper of the worm might be getting some influence.
I mean, he didn't italicize it, so it's kind of there's something to do with it because he obviously made it stand out.
Yeah, I did hear that somebody, again, another YouTuber, did think maybe they were moving it from the heavy slot to the secondary slot to make it
that
more
would be
of a viable
awesome.
weapon.
Yeah, I would use it then. The only reason I don't use whispers is because it uses heavy ammo.
Can I go to kinetic slot actually? That way we have another kinetic exotic sniper.
Yeah, which we need to go there.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. The thing is that already solar.
Maybe it is.
No, it's solo. You can't put it in the kinetic.
You can do whatever you want, Bungie.
No, you
Please
can't.
change it.
All Bungie has to do is just remove the affinity off of it.
So Respawn has kind of surprised me with inviting you two on the show this week, and I have no idea what you're here to talk about. Is there something specific that Respawn has invited you here to talk about, or did you just want to come on the show and just join in the conversation?
Okay, so
I promised Respawn no rant, so
yeah. So first of all, you're making it sound like I went out and looked for them. They asked very
No, but that's what I'm saying.
specifically.
I don't know why they're on the show, but
they're on
that's what I'm
the
asking.
show because they want to reply to the thing that you keep trying to think that we're not allowed to reply to. Okay, so if you're looking at the stream, they're here to talk about this.
Yeah, they're here to talk
right
about
here.
Respawn.
I promise you
Please
there's no rant,
clarify.
Respawn.
Okay.
Please clarify what you're talking about because I've no idea.
So
So
I am in the questions and feedback sections. So right here, this is our feedback from my rant, right?
okay, so we've got some feedback from your rant last week.
Alex Wilshire. Okay. He says, at 2 times and 100, I'll give up one of my melee if I can have a dodge or a triple jump. Different classes get different things. Now, I'm not sure what he was trying to say here. Different classes get different things. I agree. Which is why you have a shield, I have a dodge, and warlocks have a rift. Now, what that has to do with the melees that we were talking about, I'm not entirely sure how you're trying to connect that. The first sentence here, I'll give up one of my melee if I can have a dodge or a triple jump. Now, the triple jump. I'm all for every class having a triple jump because I've been advocating triple jump since Destiny 1. It is by far the best jump in the game. And if I could jump on a Warlock or a Titan and have triple jump, that'd be amazing. Because one of the main reasons I started playing Hunter in the beginning of this game in D1 was because of the triple jump. I hated how the other two classes just kind of floated. I hated it. So that was one of the main reasons for me to play Hunter. So if you want a triple jump, absolutely.
No, but I think
condone
what
it.
he's saying, as
I'm
a
in tolerance.
Titan, he would give up his melee for the other abilities. But that's
Fine.
not how a Titan plays. The Titan has the melee.
That's right.
You guys have your triple jump, which we can't do, and the
That's
same
not,
with the Floofy
you're
Warlocks,
talking
which
apples
can't
and
do.
oranges. A melee and a jump, two different things. Every class has a melee.
Not every class
Right?
has a dodge.
Every class has a melee. Every class has a super. Every class has a class ability. Every class has a grenade. Right? So if we're talking melees, keep it with melees. Don't
You
start
do
talking
have a
about
melee.
melees. and
Every
then be
class
like,
has a
"Oh,
melee.
I'll give up a melee if I'll get a triple jump. Two different
Every
things.
class has a melee.
Right, that's what I'm saying though. You're trying to justify, well, not you. Well, you just were, but he's trying to justify, hey, I will give up the thing that we should all have balanced, which are not, in addition for you if I get a triple jump, right? Now, if you wanted to keep it fair and balanced, instead of saying I'll give up my melee, I would say something more like, hey, you know what? You know your throwing knives, in order to make it more balanced, I think you should be able to pick up your throwing knife like we can pick up our hammers, right? and then give me a triple jump. That would have been a more apt argument, I think, right? Because then that would put hunters more on par with a Titan in that aspect, right? So our throwing knife, which is a one and done, unless we get a critical headshot kill with it, it's gone. We have to wait for our melee to come back up again before we can get it back, right? Now,
or you dodge near an enemy and get your melee back instantly.
If you use that dodge, not everybody uses that dodge. Most people
Well,
use the reload dodge.
You
right?
set it up.
The point is you have to wait for it to come back, right? Because we can't pick it up like Titans can, right? That would have been more of a balanced kind of thing, right? And if you wanted to, on that same subclass, you could take away freaking melee dodging. I don't know, whatever. If you really wanted to balance it out to be like, you know, the Titans have. I'd much rather lose the ability to get my melee back and just be able to run and pick up my blade, you know? I think that's better, in my opinion. Other people disagree. There's a lot of people that use the melee dodge in PvP.
Yes,
and they're going to disagree.
We
100%.
didn't hear your opinion last week.
What?
That's like nothing.
What? Anyway, so I'm not sure.
So what was the other bit of feedback that we had?
And the other one right here was for Anirban Banerjee. G. I know I slaughtered your name. Apologies for that. I don't even know how to begin to pronounce that. I do Titans and a Hunter. What no one seemed to address in the Shatter Dive discussion is the fact that Shatter Dive is a multi-kill ability versus the Titan's single-kill ability.
I'm sure I did point that out.
Make Shatter Dive one hit, but remove the AoE unless there's an exotic. I will concede to this, but there's something that you don't understand. The Shatter Dive itself doesn't kill anything.
Yes,
at
it
all.
does.
No, it
I've
does
told
not.
you it does.
If you do not use a grenade, that Shatter Dive will not kill you.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Shatter Dive by itself, Shatter Dive by itself does not do anything. So if you want to make our Shatter Dive target a single person or a single crystal, fine. But that one crystal is still going to blow up, which is going to cause a cascading effect for the other crystals around it to blow up. So that changes nothing. It sounds like your problem is that our grenade that is associated with the Shatter Dive is a multi-kill. In which case, that's fine. If you want from this point forward all grenades to only kill one person instead of an AoE, I'm okay with that. But if your intention is to just have the Hunter grenade kill a single person instead of an AoE, well then I don't see how that's justified. I don't see how that's balanced in any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? So
we all know what you're saying.
So
we heard it all last week for an hour
again,
and a half.
Shatter Dive itself doesn't do anything. If you want the Shatter Dive itself to target one person or one crystal, sure, Bungie, have at it, right? But it's not the Shatter Dive that's killing everybody. It's the grenade. The grenade is what kills you.
It's the combination of the grenade and the Shatter Dive. When people refer to Shatter Dive, they're not talking about just jumping in the air and slamming down on the ground, which is what Warlocks can do also, just to get out of the way or just create a little bit of damage on somebody. They're talking, when they say Shatter Dive, they are talking about the grenade and then Shatter Diving.
So in which case, how do you balance that? How do you make a grenade target only one person?
You don't.
Exactly.
You can't.
Exactly. So I don't know where you were trying to go with this either, but
I said to you last week, I said the issue that I had when we were in trials and somebody was dead and we went in to res them, the hunter would throw down the grenade that was near us, but we weren't on top of this grenade, but it was quite away from us, but it was for some reason it was still quite close for when they Shatter Dove that
guy was too far away. And then look, show me the video.
They Shatter Dove the grenade, they Shatter Dove the big ice wall, and it shattered and killed. It killed like two of us trying to, or when we res somebody.
Close enough, yeah.
No,
but if you go back and look at Fallout's video of the Shatter Dive after the nerf, he even shows you that like he threw the grenade in front of his friend, he did a Shatter Dive, and it hit his friend, but didn't kill him. And he was 2-3 meters away, right? So show me, if you're gonna have this kind of argument, well, we were really far away. Prove it, because there's a lot of videos out there that show if you're any more than a couple meters away, you don't die. That's video evidence that shows you don't die if you're more than a couple meters away.
That Fallout's video, he threw the grenade down near his friend, and when he shattered dove, it didn't kill him. Okay? I'm telling you that regardless of whether we were on top of the shattered dove, on top of the grenade or not, you're telling me if Fallout had done that shatter dive, we shouldn't have died. But
it depends on how close you were. You
said he threw it near his friend.
Your argument is that
he did
you
a shatter
were
dive and
far
his friend
away.
didn't die. Yes.
Your argument is that you were far away.
We were at least 2 meters away from the grenade that landed.
2 meters is about an arm's length away. If you're that close to the ice, you're gonna die.
No, but you've just said that Fallout did a thing and threw it next to his friend and he didn't die. So why then are we dying?
I said if he was further than a few meters. You said you were a couple of meters away.
But what I'm saying is that we'd res the guy.
Because there is an RNG
we all had
factor
overshields
involved.
and he still came in and shatter dove and killed us.
Because the shatter dive does like 200 and something damage, dude. So even with your overshields, yeah, it should kill you.
No, but it shouldn't.
Why shouldn't
Because
it?
the overshield is an overshield. You get your normal shield.
An overshield is just additional HP, dude. That's all that is.
With your shield and your health, it's 200 HP.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Right? And an
Shatter dive
overshield
does
is over that.
Shatter dive does over 200 damage. I'm not sure how much it is. It's like 250, 260, 2 something.
It doesn't make any sense.
Why not?
Because it doesn't.
Why? You're saying it doesn't make any sense. You haven't told me why it doesn't make any sense.
Because
you were within its range.
Right,
you had a chance to dodge it, and
the shatter dive
not to,
that is currently in play at the moment. The shatter dive that is currently in play at the moment is exactly the same as a Titan slam in their super. If a Titan slams in their super and 3 people are near each other, those 3 people are going to die from that slam.
And it depends on where they're placed.
Hunters, yeah, but hunters have the potential of that super kill every 30 seconds when they can get their grenades up, depending on how they roll it and how they spec up.
It's more than 30 seconds. It's like 45, but
it's actually even higher than that, though, because it is stasis, where you have to add in the additional time of stasis regeneration.
Right. So without the use of an exotic or special armor perks or whatever, not armor perks, armor mods, you're looking at like what, 60 seconds ish, somewhere around there.
Fragments. One fragment will bring it down to about 30.
But again, you're acting like this is just whole W. You're acting like this is just whole W press melee. It's 5 steps for a shatter dive to work, and you have to have a grenade.
You're making it sound like it's something so hard.
And then if we miss,
it's literally
it's not so hard
throw grenade, jump, and slam.
It's not so hard that you can't
throw grenade, jump, and slam. That is it.
It's what Peroty calls high risk, high reward. Right? You guys are always talking about how you have to get in there. It's the same thing with shatter dive. We have to throw it, hope it gets close enough, double hope it freezes you, and then land. Right? And once we land, if it doesn't kill you, we're in this damn superhero knee on the ground, hand in the air damn pose for like a second or two, just waiting to get killed. You know?
Yeah. Same with a Titan if they miss this, their punch.
But the difference is, shatter dive, the hunters have the 1, which is about to get nerfed. You Titans have 6 that aren't tied to a super.
Hunters have a dodge, so that if they miss, they can dodge.
You still got 1 second though, dude. You're stuck in that pose, dodge or not.
Yeah, Nitedemon, have you ever played Hunter? Here's the one thing about your dodge theories. Dodge is not a viable option to get away from almost any
dodge
damage.
Mitigates all damage or whatever.
Yeah, because how it works is in the animation, your hitbox doesn't actually move in the animation. Where you originally start your dodge from is where your hitbox is, and until the animation is complete, your hitbox actually doesn't move at all. Your hitbox is still stuck in that same area, so that's why if you try and dodge roll out of the way of a charged melee like Titan, like slam or whatever you want to call it,
and if you remember,
it's still going to kill you
that's
because
what I told him after I dodged out the way. The Titan hits where I was and connects to where I used to be. Exactly, and still kills me.
Yeah,
and that just sounds like an issue of that you haven't timed your dodge out to get out of the way quick enough.
It sounds like you didn't dodge to get out of the way of the ice fast enough.
You can time it. And let's face it, Titans aren't. There's not billions of Titans running around the Crucible slamming people.
I don't know what Crucible you play, because every time I get in
Right?
Crucible, it's like shotgun Titan slamming, sitting in corners, waiting for you to just come around the corner and
Yeah.
1 second sprints to just
No,
slam.
no.
and
In
kill you.
his Crucible, it's all Hunters and Shatter Dives. He plays a different Crucible than we do.
Yeah,
Actually,
I
apparently
played
most
Crucible
Titans and
with
Warlocks
Nexus too.
play a different Crucible than we do. Because where I am, getting one shot by Titans all day long and getting outmaneuvered by Warlocks, to be fair,
HurriKane.
Warlocks have a lot of
What-
maneuverability. Nothing
But
against you.
what I was trying to point out,
Damn.
regardless of hitboxes and things like that, when a
Yeah.
Titan whiffs its slam or whiffs its punch,
Yep.
it's standing there. It's not got to dodge. It can't, even when it tries to do an
the
animation
same
of
thing for
putting
a
up a
Hunter.
shield. No,
Yeah,
but that's
I
what I'm
will say
saying.
that is
You
very
have
fair.
you have a bit more of a viable option of a dodge, whereas we don't, and you have a bit more of mobility than a Titan with getting out of. You could jump. You have those extra little bit of abilities
Okay,
that the Titan
okay.
doesn't have.
But if
Yeah.
you
That's
if you
what- I
whiff,
wasn't
if you
saying-
whiff your melee, you don't
Yeah.
lose it. You still have it. Your melee only
Depends.
goes away when you connect.
If you miss a stasis one, it completely uses it up.
Okay, I'll give
But
you that.
the others, But then you
Okay.
can't follow it up with another melee. You can't follow it up with the charged melee.
But yeah, so that's the thing though, right? If we whiff it, we're still stuck in that animation for a while, and we can be killed in that animation. And for all these people that keep bringing up dodge this, dodge that, dodge is not a damage mitigator. Dodge, unless you have Mask of Bacchus, dodge rarely even gets you out of the way of things. It's just a form of movement that you use in a panic situation to try to avoid getting punched or shotgunned, right? It's not magic like you guys are making it out to be,
And the thing is, I think we're just going over the same, we're
But-
treading
but
the
the
same
point-
ground that we did last week.
Well, the
That's why I
point
said I
is,
wasn't
the
going to
Shatter Dive,
touch
we
too
only
much on
have
that.
the one, right? That's all we have.
No, you
Because
don't
before
have
that, we
the
had
one.
the shurikens, and y'all
No.
bitched about it, and it got
No,
nerfed.
you don't.
Before
you
that,
don't have.
we had
you-
throwing knife, and y'all bitched about that, and then it got nerfed. Well, now it's Shatter Dive. Y'all bitching about it. It's getting nerfed
You
for the third time.
guys,
Whatever comes
guys
next,
have a
y'all are
one-hit
gonna
kill.
bitch, and it's gonna get nerfed. We have what?
You've got a one-hit kill as well.
What?
Top tree Arc Strider.
Top tree Arc Strider. That punch is not
Combination
a one.
blows.
That
Yeah,
is not a one shot full health, full shield.
No, it works the same way that you were trying to say that the Titan Old works, but the difference is, or not the Titan Old, the Titan Hammer works. But the difference with the Titan Hammer is the Titan Hammer can get the burning procced a lot faster. It was where the Hunter's top tree, you have to actually get a melee kill.
Right.
But yes, it's still.
Roaring Flames grows off of any ability kill on that subclass. The Hunter one, you have to get a melee specific kill.
And
Yeah.
even if you get that kill, your charged melee does not actually come back.
Right.
So
Unless you
you're
dodge.
just doing an increased punch, which it still takes 2 punches to kill, even with the.
But if you set it up right, you can
punches.
dodge and then punch again.
The
and dodge
point,
and
the
punch
whole
again.
point is it's not a one-shot kill. The whole point is Titans have so many one-shot kills just in their melee, right? And Hunters right now, viably, only really have the Shatter Dive, and even then, that's inconsistent if we don't actually freeze your ass. That's my whole point. Is my whole point of bringing this into the Titans and bringing the Warlocks.
Well, I'm saying you don't have to freeze me if I'm near the crystals and it
you
explodes.
didn't
I
move
still die.
though. You
did.
chose not to move.
No,
away.
even if I agree with
But
Nitedemon
I'm
here,
not.
where
I'm
it's,
not arguing.
Yeah, he's not arguing, but the point is, even when he was close, I'm guessing your buddy was closer to the crystal. And one thing that procs randomly, or I feel like procs a lot more than people think, and is one of the main problems, is even if you're not frozen, you die to the Shatter Dive. Yes, AC, you're muted. Like, your server muted. Your buddy was probably standing near the crystal, which kills him and kills you because he counts as a stasis explosion because he died to stasis explosion damage.
Yeah.
So therefore, it'll continue to you too, which is most likely what happened. Which is the
why
problem
I
with
can
Shatter Dive.
understand.
Yeah,
I can understand why they're talking about maybe bringing it down slightly. But Respawn is only half informed of what's going to happen. All he's heard, and all we've all heard, is that they may look at Shatter Dive. That's it, and that's only based on I think people
Because
saying that
history
they
educates, right?
okay.
They were only going to take a look at the shurikens, and now they're useless. They were only going to take a look at our throwing knife, and now the tracking on that
Shurikens
is
aren't useless.
they
Shurikens
are useless. They don't even
it's the
freeze
slow
anymore.
No, it's the slow ability that destroys in PvP.
Yeah.
You just
You
have
tag
to
somebody with that. You also get the extra damage if you set
Yeah,
up
but the
your.
slow ability no longer affects their aim. It used to be whenever you
No,
slowed
but
them.
it doesn't matter because you get extra damage on your weapons if you slow or free somebody with
Right.
one of the aspects of fragments. I can't believe. Oh, it might actually just be built into it, but what that actually it still
it
has
is
an
a fragment.
effect.
Just a
Okay,
fragment
but
with
that
kinetic
effect,
weapons only.
that effect, if you remember back in the day when somebody was slowed, it would affect their precision and their handling.
Right.
It doesn't even do that anymore.
Yeah, but
Okay,
but
get a
what
little
you're
extra
saying
damage
is
on the guy.
you want somebody's stability and their handling, and to be frozen, and you to get damage
No,
on top
I'm
of
not
that
saying
to
any of
just
that.
kill
All
them.
I'm
Yes,
saying
you
is,
are. You're saying that they've nerfed.
Shatter Dive doesn't need
No,
to be
we're
touched.
talking about the shurikens at this point. You're
Yeah,
saying that the
because
shurikens were nerfed. They're not. They've just made them
They were nerfed
tactical.
because they were able to kill
Yeah.
or damn near kill with both shuriken hits. And if they didn't kill,
Right.
they at least froze.
Yeah.
All they do now is slow. That's all they do. They don't
And
kill.
what's wrong with
They
that?
don't freeze because
What's wrong
they've
with
been.
that?
Your melee
What is wrong with it?
freezes. Your melee freezes.
Yeah,
No, it
but
doesn't.
Hunter.
Yes, the fuck
Titan
it
melee,
does.
Titan melee doesn't freeze anymore.
Warlock melee. No, their slide melee. It absolutely does. Warlock melee.
They have
freezes.
to use an aspect to get that.
And they still have the option to freeze with a melee. We do not.
Yeah, we have to use an aspect to use
Yeah,
Shatter
you're
Dive.
right.
Yeah, we have to use our aspect for the Shatter Dive.
Yeah, don't you
to
think
get the
that's
potential one shot.
That's a trade-off. That's a trade-off. They can freeze with their melee, and we can shatter dive.
Yep, and the Warlocks can freeze with their melee. All I'm saying is this was a Shatter Dive thing, and he got onto the melee.
No,
the
you brought up
You're
the
right, I did,
shurikens.
because I was talking about how anytime hunters have anything that's viable, it gets nerfed.
No, but when you're saying viable, you are saying you
gave you
want
3
somebody to
options.
be frozen. You want somebody to have
No,
like their
viable
aim
means
being
to
off,
give me the
and you to get
same
extra damage. No, that's what you're
viability.
saying.
Well,
No.
it doesn't decrease accuracy anymore.
Viability means giving me the same options these other classes have. I would like to have the option to freeze somebody with my melee,
gotta put
which is
all the
what
way
we used to
back.
have. Now we do not. I would like to have the option to one-shot somebody with a melee, which we used to have, which
You
we
still
do
have.
not.
You do
We-
have.
We have
You
currently
can't
with Shatter
one-shot
Dive
with the
until it gets
shurikens.
nerfed again.
Shurikens do 40 damage.
40
I'm
damage.
guessing, by the way, Respawn, that Nitedemon's correct in saying that the nerf to Shatter Dive most likely won't be to Shatter Dive itself. It's most likely to the crystals, if anything.
Or to
What
the
if they just
aspects, or
decrease
to
the
one of
radius
other.
of
No,
Shatter
it
Dive?
won't be
No
to
matter
the
no
aspect,
matter what they
unless
do, the
put
whole
a
point of
cooldown
this
on it.
is to make it less viable than what it is. No matter what they do, no matter what they touch. You can't tell me their goal isn't to make Shatter Dive less viable.
Well, the problem is they have to, though, because
Yeah, that's where I need to go.
Because why?
there's too many hunters versus the other classes when it comes down to it.
That's the problem. It's too many hunters. It's not that it's OP. It's that too many hunters are using it. I guarantee if you gave us back the throwing knife tracking that we had before, there'd be more solar hunters. That
You
would be
can
split
still-
between solar and stasis.
You can still throw your throwing knife and get a one-hit kill. Yes, granted, it is precision, but you can still get a one-hit
There's
kill.
a huge aspect of it, Demon.
Yes,
But
but
the reason
that
why
is somebody that uses skill can do that.
No, before it got nerfed, we used to have not Jotun levels of tracking, but a decent level of tracking. Like if I aimed for your shoulder, it would stick you in the head. That's a decent
How
amount
is
of
that
tracking.
fair? How is that fair?
Why not?
How
You
is
can
Ryan
body
someone with a
shot
shoulder
one shot.
charge?
Going on.
How is that fair, Mr.
Yeah.
Titan?
The range difference.
No, their hammers with one stack of roaring flames can body shot one shot. So how is that fair?
Again,
And
that
they
is a
can pick it up and
two-step-
continue on.
That's a two-step process. You have to get the roaring flames first.
But you don't need precision.
No, but we
No.
still need to have got the first kill with something that is solar in our abilities,
Yeah, up to and including your super counts, all that stuff.
right?
Yeah.
So we now have
you
to
just
spend
need one kill, and you don't even need
3.5 minutes to generate a super to then get the stacks of roaring flame to
Or,
then throw
here's
out
the thing:
the one
you
hit.
shoot somebody once or twice and finish them off with the hammer. Now
Right.
you have roaring flames
then that's
and a
not-
one-shot hammer.
No, but that's not one shot. That's like a 10-step. Shoot
No,
somebody.
from that point forward, it's one shot.
Just throw your
Shoot
grenade.
somebody. Yeah, shoot somebody first, then finish them off with a hammer.
That's what we
Then go
have
and
to
pick
do
up the hammer.
with our exotic.
and
we have
make
to
sure
shoot
that
them
you're not
first to
in
get a
harm's
super throwing
way.
knife.
Make sure you're not in harm's way,
You're not in
and
harm's
then
way.
throw it again.
Where? You have to
Well,
actually go
I
pick
don't
up
know why
your
you,
weapon
I
in
don't
order
know
to
why
make it
you
a
decided to die on this hill of Shatter Dive
because
when
it's
there
not a
isn't
fair
any
thing to
information
do.
about Shatter
Because
Dive.
everything hunters get that's viable gets nerfed because people like you bitch about it because
I
that's all
haven't
you
said
see.
anything about it.
All
Oh my
you've done
God.
is argue how it needs to be nerfed.
No, I haven't. I gave you an example of when I got Shatter Dove with
Mhm.
like a team in trials,
Mhm.
and
And that's
you've
the
latched
example
onto
you
that.
keep using. And anytime I say it doesn't deserve to be
I've not
nerfed,
gone on
you say,
social
"Oh,
media.
it's
I've not
OP."
contacted
Oh, it needs-
anybody at Bungie to say
Whatever that
this
may
needs to
be.
be looked at, this needs to be nerfed. I've
No,
not said
but
a
you
word.
believe it does. You're
Thank
on.
you,
I
Minute.
use
you're on the
Shatter
side
Dive.
of-
Connections.
I use
Shatter
Shatter
Dive
Dive.
is only. Shatter
I've
Dive is
no
only
issue
a
with it.
I don't see no.
Shadow Dive is only a problem because of how many hunters are using it. Like, do you ever get scared of seeing
those
three
things, yeah, sure.
blade rangers on the other team? You don't. But when you see 3 stasis hunters on the other team, then you get scared because you know
There's
that all
drones
the
that were hovering
power that
over
Shadow Dive
the-
has.
But that's what I'm
You
saying.
just
No,
play
no.
bad.
No matter what hunters use, right? Because okay, once they nerf this, hunters are going to start using something else. I don't know what it is. We're not there yet, but we're going to start using something else. And then people like him and other titans and other warlocks are going to be like, oh, this is OP. This is all hunters are using because you took away our other, you know. And then that thing is going to get nerfed. Hunters are just going to continuously get nerfed because people are complaining because hunters find one thing that works, we all use it, and then it gets nerfed. It doesn't even have to be OP. It's just common. And that's why I brought up the shurikens and the throwing knife. Because back then, we had a decent throwing knife for once in 6 years. People bitched about it. It got nerfed. After that, we had the damn freezing class that came out. And our shurikens did damage, which was respectable. People complained, so the damage got nerfed. And then we're like, okay, well, at least it still freezes. Well, people complained about that, so our freeze got nerfed. We can't freeze or kill with the shurikens anymore unless they've already been hit a few times. You know? Everything that we get that is viable, people complain about because it's what we all use.
You're right that hunters do end up getting shafted with the nerfs. But the
That's
reason
all I
is-
was saying. That was the whole point of the rant. The Shatter Dive nerf isn't fair. It's
Nobody
not
said
OP.
nerf.
It
I
doesn't
agree
deserve
with
it.
you. It's not fair, but the reason they're nerfing it is because the amount of people that are complaining. Like if all of a sudden
I get
overnight, like that's the reason why
I
snipers
100%
got nerfed. They
get that,
weren't.
and that's why I'm
No,
trying
I
to
don't.
educate people.
I
that it
disagree with
doesn't
you,
need it.
AZ. I completely disagree with you. I don't think it's because of the large amount of hunters that use it. I believe that it is. Obviously, there's some issue with it just being too powerful than what it actually should be to be used. I think Bungie are just trying to bring it in line to say, yes, you can still use it and it will still be viable. I think if it was genuinely in the right place that it should be, and all these people were using it, and Bungie were getting the feedback from everybody saying, "Oh, it's completely overpowered." If it was in the place that Bungie wanted it to be in, they would turn around. They'd have no problem. They've had no problem in the past saying, "It's absolutely fine. We're just going to leave it." So they would have absolutely no issue with turning around and saying, "By the way, guys, there's no issue with this. You should know how to evade this. You should know how to kind of get away from this."
I've never seen
If
that
there
side
was
of
no
Bungie.
issue
Show
with
me
it-
that. Show me that side of Bungie where they're like, no, it's completely fine. We're leaving it alone. Show me that.
They've done it several times.
Show me one example. I'm just asking
They've
for one.
they've never bent the knee to the community over something like that.
Lies?
They haven't. They do not bend to the community. If they want something in the game
Lies?
to be the way
they
they
don't
want
ban
it in
the
the
community
game,
when it comes to Titans. That's why it took him so many years to address the one-eyed mask. But it took them
a whole
a couple
year.
of weeks to address something
my
related
God.
to a Titan.
they adjusted the one-eyed mask time after time after time. And did you notice
They
on
were
the podcast,
adjusted.
all the years
hold
that
on.
we were here,
What
not
level am I
once
trying-
did Peroty or I, as Titans, bring this up in a complete
92.
rant and
Let's
go,
go back.
"We are not happy with this. We are not happy with this. We're not happy with this."
Why
We let
should
Bungie
you?
do what they
Alright,
wanted to
yeah.
do,
What?
go
So
to-
you're saying that the
Bungie
one
got
I
it in the
matched
place
is
that-
completely fair and balanced?
Well,
I would've
Bungie have got
loved
it
to
into
have
the
heard that.
position where
No.
nobody's now
Well,
actually moaning about
want
it, so
you guys
obviously
to
it's
do
in the
that.
right
I want to hear
place.
how you explain that that's fair and balanced.
Well,
Like I do. Like I go out of my way to try to show that something is fair and balanced, that it's not OP. That's what I do in my rants.
Bungie
most of the time.
acknowledged that. They acknowledged that every time that they had to bring it down, they go, hang on a minute, we're going to have to retune this. Hang on a minute, we're going to have to retune this. And that wasn't based on the number of Titans, because if we're going by what you and AZ are saying, is that there's so many more hunters. This is based on the fact that it was OP and it was tuned and it needed tuning. So they tuned it, and they've tuned it and they've tuned it and they've tuned it. And they're still keeping an eye
and
on
it gets worse and worse and worse and
But
worse.
You haven't moaned about it in months, which obviously means that you're not
I
coming up
have.
against it as
I've
much.
moaned about it every time they've nerfed it.
No, but like now, you haven't moaned about it for ages. But what I'm saying is, if
Because-
Bungie are
because
happy
then
with an
we still
item
had
in its place,
options. We still had options to make it work.
do you?
Right? Now they're just
is it
trying to nerf
OP
it so that
now?
it's not going to
Is
work.
it still
No,
OP? Are you happy where it is now?
Not really, but at least it's still somewhat viable.
You go then. So it's exactly what they're going to do with Shatter Dive.
The reason they're nerfing it is not the other subclasses.
And they
are more
haven't
viable.
said-
And yes, I do agree though that they could
No.
buff the other light subclasses. And like when Void
what?
comes out, when Void 3.0 comes out, I guarantee you that's going to be
Oh, yeah,
broken.
that's actually it, too.
No,
Broken.
I guarantee if Titans had to deal with the same that Hunters do, he'd be singing a whole different tune. If he didn't have as many
Right.
one-shot options, if
Yep.
his only options were constantly getting nerfed and he had to find a way around it to play a different subclass, to play a different anything, I guarantee if Titans were nerfed or tuned as much as Hunters are, he'd be singing a
They
whole
are.
different damn tune.
They are.
You're not. Even your boy the other day put it in the chat, Titans don't get nerfed as much as Hunters do. Mathematically speaking.
But it's the nerfs that are actually. It's not.
So
It's not
literally
about.
what
It's
I
not
did-
about
Yeah.
a tit for tat. It's not tit for tat. It's not like you get a nerf, I get a nerf. You
No.
get a nerf, I get a nerf.
Now,
The Warlock gets a nerf,
we only
you get a
have
nerf.
we
It's
only
not-
have three.
It's the level of
We only
nerf
have
that is
three
different.
things that can one shot, and that's even with exotic assistance. I guarantee if you only had three things
That's
that can one
because you
shot
play a
without exotic
hunter,
assistance,
and a hunter is built completely different to a warlock and a titan.
Hunter,
That is the
by
gameplay.
definition, is designed to have high damage but low resilience. You guys have
No.
high resilience and high damage.
You can spec a hunter for high resilience and high damage.
Yo, I'm building off of what you just said. Hunters are built different. I agree.
They are.
Hunters are supposed to be high damage with one shots, but we're supposed to be squishy to balance it.
Right?
But we
yeah,
don't.
we're supposed
We
to
don't.
have high
We
single
have low
target
damage. We have very few one shots, and we're squishy. Whereas Titans have multiple one shots and high resilience, and you'll still bitch about Hunters.
I
Yeah,
haven't
like
said anything about hunters.
Oh,
Your
my
class
God,
in
that's
general.
broken.
You represent your
My
class.
class is.
So
I
you
don't represent my class.
Source of
I play a
rage.
titan. I don't represent the titans. I'm not like
In
a
this show you
speaker
do.
for them.
Two Titans and a Hunter. Yes. This show, you represent your people. My anger's at you. All right? Yeah. And that's why I'm so mad, because if it were actually balanced, we would
Titans
have
aren't the ones saying that nerf the hunters.
shots instead of the Titans, and we would be squishy to offset it. You wouldn't have as many one-shots as you do, but you'd be tanky as hell to offset it, and Warlocks would be somewhere in the middle. You know? But it's not like that. It's not like that at all. Every time Hunters get something that gives us one-shot abilities, it gets nerfed because it's too powerful. It's too...
Yeah, and what is the issue with that?
like
I
Did you
don't
not
understand
hear
your issue. I really do not understand your issue.
my issue is
with
we're
Bungie
supposed to have
tuning
high
hunters
damage.
to be hunters.
They're not, though. They're tuning us to be less than Hunters, is my point. Hunters, like I said, pay attention, Demon, because I've already said this twice in the last
No,
5
I don't
minutes.
understand, right?
Hunters
Titans are meant to be
supposed
built.
have... No.
Titans are meant to be
Hunters-
built as tanks, so they give out
Tanks.
high damage and
Yes,
take
no,
a lot of damage.
Then what is the point of the other classes? If you're high damage and high resilience, this shouldn't be Destiny. It should just be Titans.
You have your mobility
You
over the
are
Titans.
supposed to be tank in, meaning take a lot of damage. You are not supposed to be dishing out a lot of damage. The
Why not?
hunters are supposed to be dishing out a lot of damage, but are weak, so we hide behind the titans. That's how you balance things. You don't give titans. You think tanky means you have to have a giant cannon and full of armor. No, tanky means you have high HP, you have high resilience. You are a meat shield for those that are behind you, that are dishing out all the damage, that aren't as tanky as you are. That's how you balance something. You don't make the titans have high damage and high resilience, and then take away the hunters' high damage, still give them low resilience, and then warlocks do whatever they do. That's not how you balance the
Support
game.
class, technically. If you're going to put it into classes like Respawn's trying to do, you have Titans, tanks, which if we go into classical RPG nature means, as he's stating, high health, okay damage most of the time, and then that's their build. It's just high health. Hunters are your DPS characters or damage characters, so you have lower health, low resilience, good damage output, and then you would have your warlock supports, or they also do like almost an ad clear with a lot of their abilities too, which that's how they do. Is hunters have high DPS to single targets if you look at most of our olds.
But in PvP, we don't
unfortunately,
get that.
Destiny
PvP,
isn't
we
built
get-
like that.
It takes
build
away
it
our
like
high
an
damage.
RPG in the end.
It takes
Destiny
away
doesn't
our
put
high
them in
resilience, but it gives the titans all the high damage and all the high resilience.
The thing is, I can build my hunter to be exactly the same as my titan. I can get high resilience, high recovery.
But by your own definition, you're taking the hunter out of its class. We're
Am I?
built
Why?
differently because a
Why?
hunter is not
It's
supposed
not-
to have high
It
resilience.
used to be that way in Destiny 1 that you could only spec into a certain amount of resilience and recovery, but with Destiny 2 they changed that around and basically you have free reign of where you want to spec into.
So
No matter
then
what
your
class you're in.
definition of each class is built differently shouldn't apply then.
What Respawn is
You can't play
taking
both sides of that fence, Demon.
high damage, low resilience is like Golden Gun, even though Golden Gun has no resilience. at
Zero
all,
resilience, yeah.
which is another conversation it should have a little bit. But like look like what the War Hunter Spectral Blade, they nerfed it, which the damage resilience of it. I don't know where I'm going at this point. But the super damage resistance.
Yeah,
You guys have a lot more resistance than what hunters have. That seems a bit more balanced.
Which is
but
fine. If they had a lot more resilience, like Az was talking about, I'd be okay with that. You're Titans. You're supposed to be tanky. I would be fine with that. But to counterbalance that, as hunters, we're supposed to have the higher damage output to balance that out.
Yeah, but look at their hammer Titan or
I think you're completely looking at this the wrong way. You shouldn't be looking at what we can do compared to what you can do. It should be just what is
I'm
Well,
available
it
for
wouldn't
you.
be, except that every time we can do something that's worthwhile, it gets taken away from us.
Nobody's saying that they're taking it away. You've
Oh my
jumped so
Christ.
far
Demon,
ahead.
I'm not jumping far
You
ahead.
are.
This is history, experience talking, dude.
Right. We've
They're not
just
going
read the
to nerf it.
12.
They're not going to adjust it for the better.
We've just read the 12, and at the bottom of the 12, they said that they've got some buffs planned, they've got some tuning planned, and they not once did they mention Shatter Dive in that.
No, Shatter Dive was from a few weeks ago.
I know
when the
it was.
guy in one of your freaking things said, "Oh, it's already going to be addressed and it's coming out on
It's
the 30th
going to be
anniversary."
addressed,
Yeah,
but they haven't specifically called it out. So it's obviously not too much of an issue to what they're tuning. Otherwise, they would call it out and call it out and call it out
you're trying
draw
to play
people's
devil's
attention.
advocate, but you're not doing it well because you're trying to
I'm
say,
not trying
"Oh,
to
we
play
don't know
devil's
how they're
advocate.
going to nerf it."
I'm not
I
even
know
playing
it's a
devil's
nerf.
advocate. I'm
They're-
waiting for
the
them to actually
point
give
of
us some
them
information
adjusting
about what it
is
is.
to make it less viable. My argument is it doesn't need to be adjusted to be less viable. It's already as viable as it needs to be in its current state. It's already been tuned more than once. Leave it
So
the
was
hell
One-Eyed
alone.
Mask. So was One-Eyed Mask.
Yeah.
You almost
Okay.
done.
one of the Bungie devs has confirmed that, or not maybe not confirmed, but they've said that they're going to tune Shatter Dive.
Yeah, that's all they've said is tune. They haven't said nerf, they haven't said buff, they haven't said anything. They
Yeah,
haven't given us any
Tuning-
details.
tuning,
But
though,
yeah,
on a-
Respawn has jumped so far off this
Because
bandwagon.
you sound like an
Shatter Dive
idiot.
somewhere completely.
You sound like an idiot. Oh yeah,
No,
they
right.
just said tune. For all you know, it could be a buff. Yeah, they're gonna buff something that people are complaining about.
No, but
when
they
you
could
say that, you
tune
sound
it.
like an, you know,
Something that everybody
They could
that a
tune it to
majority of
actually
players-
work how they may have intended it to work.
which
It
is
may not be
less
working.
viable than what it is now.
No, but it may work completely different. You remember when they tuned the Warlock's melees and things, and they completely revamped like the solar abilities. So it could be something like that. It could be a complete rework of how it works, so
You
it
didn't
still
say rework.
works and it
You said
works really
tuned.
well. And you may, decide that you like it like that. You
Yeah,
don't know
no.
yet. You can't
Yeah,
say
but
no
everything
until it's
kind of-
here.
Because he
whenever
didn't
they
say
say the
rework.
tune-
He said tuned, and he said
When
tuned because he knows the word nerf. People like me off.
Yeah, they're not gonna buff something that a majority of the player base that aren't hunters are complaining about. They're not gonna buff it because if they buff it, everything's just gonna go to hell.
And they're not
It's
even
worse.
just going to change it. They're going to make it less viable because people are complaining about it. If you're thinking anything other than that, you're either naive or you're trying to people off by acting ignorant. And I know you're not stupid. I know you know when they say the word tune, you know it means nerf. I don't even know why you're trying to go down this lane.
Why I said to you at the beginning, don't swear. It goes out the window. You just get so emotional.
Because we don't deserve it. Tired of it. Just tired of it.
Right, and we know you were tired of it. We had an hour and a half of you being tired of it
Yeah.
last week.
And
HurriKane and
I wish you
AZ are
guys could
here.
see from our perspective too. I wish Titans were balanced in such a way that you only had as many one shots as we do. You know, and I know somebody's going to say we're built differently, and I don't care how you work it. Just make sure that you only get 3 one shots like we do. One of your one shots has to depend on an exotic. Another one of your one shots is going to be inconsistent.
Look, you
And
went
the other
over this
one
last
shot-
week. Let
All
the
I'm
other
saying-
two speak. Let the other
Sorry.
two speak.
All right, go. I'm done.
HurriKane.
Oh, I wasn't going to input much because I didn't want to turn this into the rant it is
Too
now.
late. It's too late.
Too late.
You might as
No.
well just input what you are here to input.
I didn't have anything much to input. I just wanted to state that Shatter Dive is something that a lot of people can get used to, and I know a lot of people have gotten used to. It's just altering play style and being less aggressive, because I think that's one of the biggest things in Destiny right now, along with a lot of other games, is that one of the things is games nowadays are a lot more aggressive based when it comes down to it, and a lot of games what would you say, like encouraging a more aggressive play style, and Shatter Dive is just a very, very good counter to the aggressive play style that is Destiny right now. And so that's why I think a lot of people are having problems with it in many ways, is because the aggressiveness that they're playing is just not. It's
yeah,
just
a
the
Titan
biggest
can't just
counter
run around
to
the
it.
corner and shotgun somebody anymore because
Yeah.
now
I
he's
think-
got to worry about getting Shatter Dive.
I think with
And I
Shatter
don't like
Dive, you
that.
can either be aggressive or you can be passive with it.
Yeah,
It
you can be.
It's a good all-round tool.
Yeah. But I'm saying
Whereas-
it's a good shutdown for aggressors,
Yeah.
for hunters, since you're not going to try and knife or throwing knife a guy a meter away from you. It's possible. It's just very unviable because you have your shoulder charge, which is much better close range shotguns, which hunters can use too, of course, because it is just all round. But I just don't enjoy it.
No.
But yeah, there's other ways to do it, but Shatter Dive's just there, and it's the only viable hunter grenade also in my eyes for the most part. Like, your trip mine's good. If you
Yeah.
use some of your exotics, then
Yeah.
you can increase other good grenades.
And you stick it to them
But
like a
then
knife.
that's down to them tuning those and making
Yeah.
those better.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agree with you. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But what I was saying, like you can either be aggressive or passive with the Shatter Dive and the grenade. Whereas if you're a Titan and you've got that one shot ability that Respawn keeps talking about, but you have to run to charge it up to
Abilities,
then punch.
plural.
Okay. But if I'm running at you to punch you, you do have the ability to throw down that grenade to shut me down if you are playing passive. Or if you are playing aggressive, you can shut me down before I've even started my run. There's more utility to your Shatter Dive than there is my
You're only thinking
whole
of the one where
W,
you have
as
to
Respawn
run.
keeps saying.
You have ranged melees too. You also have a melee where you can jump in the air and slam down on the ground. So
Yeah.
you,
But that's not a one-shot kill.
But it's still, you have options to shut us down. You know, you
How?
have that. You land. Okay, you have your ranged hammer, which is going to do damage to us, and all you have to do is clean it up afterwards. Like you were trying to say about our stuff. Oh, you just got to clean it
No,
up.
but
Same
I'm
to
saying
you.
that
You just
your
gotta clean
shatter
it up.
dive can be aggressive or passive, whereas the shoulder
Yeah,
charge
you get that
or any
aggressive
of our shoulder
attack
charges is an aggressive thing.
exactly.
We can't stand round a corner and charge up. We can't run up against the wall and charge it up. It doesn't work like that anymore. They nerfed it. You can't do that.
Yeah, but you can do yours more often than we can do ours. You have a shorter cooldown.
But that's because of the way that stasis is built. That it's the dark subclasses are harder to
It
charge
doesn't
up with their
matter because
supers and their
why? The
abilities.
fact is still the fact, dude. You can do it more often than we can, regardless of why. You can, and if you miss your melee, most of your melees, you don't burn it. But if we miss our grenade, we miss our shadow dive. It's been burned until we get our grenade back. You know, you're comparing apples to oranges, man. You're trying
There's
to
more
make it even, but it's
utility to
not.
it. There's more utility to it.
It's just like One-Eyed Mask. Stasis Hunter has been there for a long time, and I feel like that its lifespan is almost up now. And I would like to see the meta change off of being just a Stasis Hunter to, say, Spectral Blades again, or even Golden Gun, if they added just a tiny bit of damage resistance.
You mean aim assist?
No damage resistance, but you're actually in those.
Oh, for the super itself. Oh,
But
okay.
if we're talking about your golden gun, I mean that is it top tree where you can just walk around and you just have if you get a precision hit with like that, it just extends the duration of it. And you think
It's
back in
actually
Destiny
not even a
1,
precision hit. It's just a kill. You have to get a kill to extend it.
yeah, it's just
right?
oh my word. And I remember
But
Destiny 1,
but here's
you'd be
the thing.
hiding in a corner counting the shots and you think, oh, I'm safe, and you come out. You can't do that in Destiny 2 anymore. It's like
Correct.
they've shot about 6 shots and then you get on the 7th or 8th shot and you're like, oh my god.
Right. But to balance that, they've made our range for that golden gun that you're talking about less than a legendary hand cannon.
What? No, they haven't. No.
They have.
Yes,
They've tuned
No,
it.
I have.
top tree does have less range than
Yeah, it does have
multiple
They
less.
legendary
absolutely
hand cannon.
do.
But
I
anyway,
have-
that's
It
not
doesn't
where
matter
we're
when
at.
you fire
Yeah.
Super. Yeah, that's not.
AZ. So what else do you have to say on the Shadow Dive nerf or tuning?
Just change the meta up. That's it. Because I've run Stasis for a long time, and I've gone back to. I used to run Golden Gun until I ran Stasis. So
Yeah.
I would like, even if it brings back all the Golden Gun Hunters and Spectral Blades, I'd much rather be up playing against a powerful super than a powerful utility. And I get that it's a Hunter one-shot ability, but ignoring that fact completely, it's one of the only Hunter abilities. I'm losing my mind right now.
That can one shot. Full stop.
Yeah, it's one of the only ones. The only other one being the throwing knife.
And technically, we have middle tree arc.
I think
who's
if
used to
you-
that?
Middle share is not one shot. It
If
deals
you
damage.
I think if you compare the Shatter Dive with the grenade to the Warlocks with their ability to actually freeze somebody, sending out the arc staff and actually freezing somebody can get out of being frozen by a Warlock, even depending on what aspects and fragments that you've gone on to extend that. They can get out of that being frozen even while you're shooting them. If you're shooting them with a primary, not a shotgun, or a fusion rifle, if you're shooting them down with the primary, they can still get out of being unfrozen quicker than what you can do out of being frozen in the Shatter Dive. So if you're comparing that to that, maybe that's what they're going to do, is the fact that maybe you can get out of being frozen quicker, and then it will be more in line with what the Warlock freezing is, which makes it fair.
But there's freezing for Shadow Dive is the same as all the other freezings.
I'm pretty sure they're
because
just going to
this long
change
now or the super
crystals and their
freezings.
shatter effects, because you can, like, I've actually killed teammates on accident by shooting other crystals trying to clear away so I can shoot enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You shot enemy crystals and killed your buddies? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
it's possible, and it's really annoying because it's like I can't help my teammate, so I have to shoot these crystals. But he's standing there, so he's going to die to the crystal.
Oh, is he frozen in the crystals? Is that
No,
what's
he's
happening?
not frozen in the crystals. He's standing next to the crystals, and the crystals burst and actually kill him.
Yeah.
And so
that's not great.
so I think it's just I don't think it's a nerf to Shadow Dive itself or any abilities. It's going to be a change to Crystal Bursts, and maybe even removal of the aspect of the extra burst for PvP. Mostly,
An interesting
something.
change that I thought of was for Glacier Grenades, instead of the Shatter dealing damage, what if the Shatter applied stacks of slowness? So now you can at least still fight back once you get Shatter Dived, which would then slow you. You'd still be able to fight back. You just be stuck.
Okay, you can fight back. So the one guy that you could have killed before is now slowed, and if somebody else decides to join the fight, now it's a 2v1.
But I really don't think that's
when before that guy would have just been done. You can handle the other guy 1v1.
At the end of the day, something is going to happen to Shatter Dive. There's nothing that either of us can kind of argue it out to put a case to Bungie. There's nothing that HurriKane can say, or even AZPlayz. It's already in the works. It's already baked into it. So no matter how much you're complaining about it beforehand, until we actually see it, we're not going to know what it does. I think we're just going to have to draw a line under it until this actually happens.
Yeah, because that's just my take on it. I don't really have much else to say. Other than Nerf is pretty much.
I just wish, in order to make everybody happy, nobody with any ability outside of a super should be able to one shot, flat out.
Yes, I
would
agree
end
with that.
all of these debates. No Titan shoulder charge, no Hunter throwing knife, no Shatter Dive, no grenade. Nothing outside of a super should one shot. Boom, or a sniper, right?
Unless it's a high risk, high reward, like the Hunter throwing.
Nothing. Nothing outside of a super should one shot.
Maybe
put everybody on the same level playing ground.
Maybe that's their plan with the 3.0 subclass, to make it to where you're more of either buffing yourself or debuffing others rather than one shot abilities.
Yeah, something like that. Just remove all one shots, because that's what really makes me mad. Is all these one shots, and whenever hunters get a one shot, our one shots get nerfed, but the Titans still have most of their one shot, and the Warlocks don't really have a whole lot of one shots either, right? I think combined, if you added Hunter and Warlock one shots, we would have less than Titan.
Oh yeah, because Titans have thermite. There are thermite grenades and solar. They have the hammers. Like, I think the only one shot ability in Warlock, other than any of the grenades, is their handheld supernova for middle tree.
Doesn't that require a grenade?
No, top tree solar can actually also kill with one shot. You just have to hit all three of the balls on them, which is hard at distances. Yes, if they're up, if you're like up close to them, they will win because they can just.
Andy doesn't think.
He disagrees with it, but I've seen it happen, and it's happened to me multiple times because their charge melee actually doesn't get. I mean, it doesn't have a range like our throwing knife does, to a point where it just uses a normal melee, even though that is a ranged melee. They'll use it up close, and all three of those balls actually just burst on you right there, and it will one-shot you.
It does like 120 or 180.
It will one-shot, trust.
I played Warlock a lot on top tree solar for last season for PvP, because I'm going to try to switch it up. And that melee does not one shot.
There we go.
Anyway, line drawn. Discussion over and done with.
I agree.
Good. Respawn.
What?
I know you all talked out, but would you tell us what's happening in your Respawn's report roundup this week?
G Jake, at Grenader Jake. Oh, this is who you keep comparing me to, Nosy. As previously mentioned, I'm all about trials experiments. However, this week I am concerned about skewed data. Adding double XP and a seasonal quest for trials weapon will inflate numbers this weekend, making it nearly impossible to gauge success of freelance playlists. DMC replies saying there's a ton of valuable data outside of inflated population. It's not just about the total numbers, but what those numbers are doing, how they're doing it, etc. Vague, right? Not to mention, we can do work on our side to cross-reference other seasonal challenge XP weekends. Predator Jake again. Oh, and for those of you that are wondering, when I say compared to, Nulzy likes to jump in the chat and say, hey, Respawn has 0.0027% the amount of followers as Grenader Jake. So, thanks for that. All Iron Banner is usually announced in the TWAB, right? So it seems next week is an Iron Banner. Oh, you guys can't see this. I'm sorry. Next week is an Iron Banner. The whole 3 weeks, no Iron Banner. 1 week Iron Banner would tell us next week is Iron Banner, but no TWAB announcement means I'm very confused. DMG, rule of thumb, if there's an event in the tower with tons of decorations and such, Saladin is on vacation.
Which basically means it'll be the week after.
Mm-hmm. Cosmo S. Pumpkins. And then DMG. So how... Oh, he retweeted.
Retweeted.
Okay, that's what that symbol means. Okay. DMG retweeted something Cosmo said. Do you use the D2 Twitch extension when streaming? I did until everybody was saying they couldn't see half the screen, so I disabled it. The team has recently identified and fixed an issue where gift sub bounties were not functioning. That was also another issue. If you're encountering this issue when streaming D2, sign into Bungie Net on an incognito browser using your Twitch credential. DMG04. Quick Reddit response to some cues about trial. 1. Why are we taking week over week about population dip? Talking week over week. 2. Why aren't we talking about feedback concerning the flawless pool? 3. Why aren't we talking about blowout matches?
And then you have the Reddit post.
Oh, it's down here. I was going to be like, that answered nothing? Okay. Here's the answer to number 1. It is expected that the trial's population decrease week over week. The team is doing work to see what can be done to reduce the decline or even increase population on occasion, but right now we're in a period of trying new things. Between the rework to rewards and trials labs every few weekends, we're getting a ton of great data to perform potential changes to the mode in the future. We want trials to be the best it can be, as we want Destiny to be the best it can be. There will be bumps. Excuse me. There will be hiccups. We're excited about the knowledge we're gaining and what could come about in the future. Flawless Pool will be enabled on Sunday. The team is cooking up changes for trials matchmaking, and we'll produce additional information when we have it. I mentioned in another comment, it's looking like we may have it for the TWAB next week, but can't make that promise just yet. Question 3. In terms of uncompetitive matches, team is investigating. As we introduce more labs weekends and adjust feedback from previous, we're still digging through the data. In terms of players are resetting at 6 wins, it seems that a minuscule population of players is actually doing this in practice. Yes, it's an issue that needs to be addressed, but it's not burning down the playlist to the extent that some are stating. Thanks for continuing to shoot feedback our way and the discussion you have with other players. While we can't have a reply to every single subject in every single TWAB, seriously, we can't have 20,000 word TWABs every week to cover every corner of Destiny. These are conversations that we having in meetings pretty frequently. I've said a few times on this sub, some changes take a while to implement, while matchmaking will come about in a hotfix. Other larger changes to the mode may not come for a few months. As we get closer to those patches, though, we'll be sure to sound off on the what's and whys. That was a lot. DMG continues. We got in touch with the team. Here's some info straight from their keyboards. Fighting a lion wasn't a specific problem before we reworked the weapon, but given increasing frustration with breach grenade launchers in Crucible, it seemed like a misstep to say, "We hear you." Thank you! Take a drink just because. He acknowledged it. Just whatever. And there's an infinite ammo version of that thing you're frustrated about in the same patch. It has become clear through hands-on feedback, feedback, and back-end data that the full nerf isn't needed, so we're adjusting it in the 30th anniversary patch. Note, this is not a full rollback. There is still a difference between almost infinite ammo and actual infinite ammo in how weapons are used, so we want to make sure that we don't create a monster. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what's getting over me. I think I got so heated during that conversation. Now I'm coming down and I'm crashing. The
coffee's worn off. Yes.
Yeah. Here's a quick patch note preview for December. Remove the multi-hit requirement for the reload speed buff. Increase the buff to the reload stat, and i.e. reload will still be slow if you miss, but if you land any damage, Fighting Lion will reload faster than it did before the nerf. Okay. Read previous Fighting Lion nerfs. He's replying. Team has some info for you. December isn't too close, but it's not too far either. Okay, here we go. DMG again. Hello from the grave. I have some happy Friday news from a coworker. Issue where spectral pages weren't dropping from trials losses has been fixed. If you participate in the match and receive reputation rewards, you'll also get 3 to 4 spectral pages. Much love. Also, side note, 2 days ago, I think, I had a stream where I was just collecting these pages so I could get the lore ready for today, and a heroic public event was giving me 1 page, right? They didn't believe me, so I went back and showed them. Everyone was giving me 1 page. The only way that I was getting 2 or 3 pages was to go to the strike that has like shadows in the name. I can't remember the damn name of it. It's the one on EDC, Shadow something.
Link of Shadows.
That one.
You mean on EDC?
Yeah. When I was going there, I was getting 2 to 3 pages, which was a hell of a lot better than 1. Right? For the same 3 or 4 minutes it would take to do that strike is to do a public event. It does seem today, as you guys have been watching, I have been getting multiple pages from doing heroics. So it looks like it was like a temporary bug and has now been addressed.
Yeah, it was an unintentional nerf.
Right.
Apparently it was tied to the Nightfall strike that they had to nerf last week.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, in the end, it looks like it's been fixed. So
there was a whole kind of YouTube video and a Twitter post by Bontis that pointed it out to people, and that kind of blew up this week on Twitter, along with other things that blew up on Twitter this week.
Well, there you go. Since he's finishing my sentence for me, there you go. You can go back and do it as a public event now, is the point I was getting at. Bungie help. We have reverted an erroneous change that decreased candy and spectral pages from drops from public events. There you go. Right in the next part I didn't get to. Bungie, the fact that an enemy Gambit team can invade while they have 80 motes and we only have 8 makes the mode insufferable. Yeah, that can be pretty rough. Can be a pretty rough time. Team is looking into some improvements to make the witch queen time frame. We'll be sure to pass this feedback along. Now, as aggravating as that is, they've still earned 3 portals. So
yeah, but they're already up. So why?
Yeah, see, the difference
they've
is
earned them.
the biggest thing is once they get above, they just start randomly getting portals anyways, and because this team actually hasn't opened their first portal, they can never invade, is the biggest problem.
Yeah.
After you put in, I believe it's around 50 motes, your portal will just start opening anyways, unless you are just inputting your more and more motes. It will just keep opening with those motes.
After 50?
Yes, but I believe after 50, there's a time set where even if you're not banking, your portal will actually open.
Are you sure it's not 75? Because you have.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's got to be 75 because every 25 you get a portal. You get 3 portals.
Yeah,
25, 50, 75. So I would assume after 75, it's doing what you're talking about. But
maybe it is. I know there's a time where your portal will just start opening on a time, not on mote.
I agree. I'm sorry if you haven't used your first portal by the time you get your second portal, you only should still get 1 portal.
Yeah.
If you haven't used it by the 3rd portal, and you're up 80 motes,
it
should just completely shut off. You should. There is no way that you should be invading the other team unless they suddenly start banking loads.
I like that. I can get behind that. If you don't use it, you lose it. You know, if you don't invade and you get another one.
No, but it gets infuriating when they've summoned their primeval and you're only on like 20, and you're trying to bank, and they just keep invading. You're like, how is this fair? Come on, just let us get to primeval stage, and then maybe open your portal and you can come in and invade us. But by that point, you've already burnt down your primeval and the game's over and done with.
Yes, I can see that. Sense. I like that. That's not bad. Use it or lose it kind of portal.
Get health buffs, please, because geez, I've seen Gambit matches fly, and I'm like, okay, I remember back in good Gambit days, and this wasn't even near possible. It's like 1 phase of the wizards and the primeval's dead.
Unless it's
Yeah.
the meatball.
Well, oh yeah,
unless it's the
that's
meatball.
because the meatball just protects himself and everyone else around him.
Yeah.
Like
God,
every
I
10
hate that
seconds, and you're
meatball
just like,
so
oh,
much.
there goes my super.
And you
Doesn't
notice
matter.
how whenever you were working on that exotic gun, that meatball would not
Malfeasance?
show up. Yeah, that
Oh
man,
yeah,
that
jeez.
meatball was the
Stuck
hardest
on
thing
that
to find
set
in the
for
game.
how many weeks, days,
Exactly.
months?
And nowadays, in one day, I'll see that more than once. I'm just like, stop showing up.
No one loves you anymore.
No one likes you, man. Go away. Anyway, I hear you, but I do like what he was talking about with the whole portal. Hey, if you didn't use the first one, you don't get it anymore. It's gone. I dig it.
Yeah, because I think I've seen an invader get out, and then like not even 30 seconds later,
he'll
another
pop
portal
right back
spawns
in.
up, and they'll pop back,
Yep.
and you're like, oh no.
Mhm.
And he still has heavy ammo.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm not defending it either way because I've been on the losing side of Gambit. I've been on the side of Gambit where I'm that guy that did what you just described.
Yeah,
it
it feels good, but it is not fair.
Yeah, but on the bright side, I mean, the match is over quick either way. They either mercy you quotes or you mercy them quotes, right? And then
Yeah.
you move on with life. But yeah, I mean, the primeval health, I think they have the same health. I think that we're just really powerful as Guardians now.
It's
Yeah, so
called
I mean,
particle,
they need a health. They need a health
particle
buff.
deconstructor, isn't it?
No,
You
even
use
before
1K
like
on that,
last
and,
season
yeah.
though, it was still
Well, because you had the grenade
fast.
one.
Yeah, he had the grenade
So,
launcher one.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, same thing. You had grenade specials and you had grenade heavies, just like now you have fusion specials and fusion heavies. So these buffs to grenade damage or fusion rifle damage is just wrecking things. You know, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we also have the Titan chest piece that just does like 2 million damage.
Oh, and speaking, look, side
No.
note.
No.
Nope, sorry, I brought
No,
up,
this
though.
isn't just. This isn't
No.
just. Talking about how hunters are supposed to be the DPS. Well, right now Titans are the highest DPS in the game with that chest piece. So even if hunters are supposed to be highest DPS, we can't even fulfill that role.
You had an hour and a half last week. I don't know how many hours you've had this week. Anyway, moving on. One thing that was clarified by Cosmo this week on Reddit was that the 2 dungeons that were announced to come along with the Witch Queen will be separate from if you buy the different versions. So if you buy the deluxe version of the Witch Queen, which includes the Witch Queen and all the seasons and literally everything, including the stuff that you get now, which is a ghost and a sparrow, if I'm right, correct, Respawn? Yeah, is that what you get in game now? You
Ghost
got
and
from
emotes.
pre-ordering Ghost and emote?
That and the
Something.
Gallahorn. Yeah.
No, that's something different.
That
Stop
Gallahorn
going.
is the
what are you
30th
talking about?
anniversary.
30th anniversary. So if you buy the deluxe edition of the Witch Queen, you get all the seasons for that year and you get access to the dungeons. But they did kind of clarify this because I think there was a lot of questions going around saying that if you don't buy the deluxe edition and you buy just the regular version and then you buy the seasons separately, so it's $40 for the Witch Queen and then $40 for the seasons separately, so again it still comes to $80. They don't include the 2 dungeons that are coming. They are going to be separate from that price, and potentially I think people have been throwing around the idea of maybe it being $10 a dungeon. Now basically if you pay $80
you want to buy
you get
separately?
everything.
Is that what I'm saying? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
No, but what they're kind of separating it. If you don't want to play the dungeons, then you know it doesn't matter. But if you want to get everything, you have to get the deluxe edition, or you end up having to pay more in the long run if you can't afford it. Which is basically what it is. So it'll end up being like say $100.
A bundle by definition is supposed to make it cheaper for you. You get the bundle sale.
So if the dungeons are priced at about $10 each, that brings up the total to about $100 in total if you buy it separately, each one. And I can see that there's been many arguments on Twitter, Reddit, everywhere there's been arguments this week. I listened to the Last Word podcast with Ebontis and Lord Cognito this week. Had some really good arguments for and against why they should have done this, and reasons, ways that they could have maybe improved on kind of getting these into the game and not having to charge people. And the same with the DCP podcast, the Destiny Community podcast this week. They had good discussions on this. So I will link both of those in show notes because I think they put better arguments together for and against than what we could. If you want to kind of listen to that, or you can just listen to Respawn rant about the same argument he did this week. So yeah, there is that. That's kind of stuff that's happened this week. So if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about that, have a listen to those ones. But that's basically what it is. Pay more, get it all together, or not. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I know not everybody out there can buy their own game and have to depend on somebody else. Or even with this COVID and everybody's having a hard time with money, you know? People want to spend as least as they can and then get the rest later. So I totally get where you're coming from. I do, right? But at the same time, the whole point of a bundle is so that you get all parts for cheaper than the individual, you know? So up front, is it more money than you can afford? Yeah, but in the long run, it would be, you know, less money. So I mean, pick your battle. I guess there is really only you can get at. But I mean, Bungie does what they can, and at this point in time,
look, you've got Christmas. You've got Christmas. You can ask for Steam points, Xbox points, PlayStation points. I mean, that's what I've asked for from my family. Just give me some money. I can go and buy after Christmas. You know, there's no rush. It's not coming out before Christmas. The same with the 30th anniversary. I've got some money for my birthday, which I'm going to use towards that. So I'm buying the two separate things.
Wait,
I'm not
hold
buying
on.
it as a whole bundle.
Are you talking about you yourself got money for your birthday?
Yeah.
How old are you?
Why? What does it matter?
Whenever you people,
what does it matter?
Whenever you hear people talking about, I got money for my birthday, I'm gonna buy a video game.
Well,
it's like it's like a kid.
Remember,
remember, it's part of his job.
Miss Nitedemon does not agree with the payments that he has made to Bungie.
Yeah. Unless she's giving me
money for my birthday. I'm gonna get Destiny.
It's
a grown ass man saying that.
Instead of him getting a present, it's just money this year.
Yeah, I got some money. I'm going to put it towards, you know, Destiny 30th anniversary.
Yeah, and Golden God says, "I wish I got money for my birthday." Yo, same.
Ask. You have to ask the people. Anyway, so yeah, I'm buying it separately, and hopefully I'll get some money for Christmas and purchase it after Christmas.
Yeah.
I guess in the UK they're nicer about people asking for money for birthday.
Well, no,
well,
he has some money that way he can buy things like video games his wife does.
Anyway, so moving on to.
I don't know if y'all can see it. There's actual tears in my eyes right now. That's crazy. I can't believe we're
moving on to some tips, tricks, guides, and builds this week. To finish off the show, we have a couple of cool videos this week. First one is from Ironwork Gaming that goes over some stacking buffs. Now, these are ones that you can either put on your weapons or your gear, and it was based off of the one that he did a couple of weeks back with, I think it was with the Ascendancy rocket launcher and stacking buffs with that. So he goes into a bit more detail of what buffs you can actually stack with each other and help either in PvE or PvP. Really informative, really helpful. Cool Guy has a couple of really cool videos this week. There's one with must-try builds, and one of them is a build with a hunter using, I think it's the Liar's Handshake. So this is the one that gives you literally infinite melees and infinite melee ability, one-hit kills. Really good. Very underutilized as a hunter.
To be clear, the exotic doesn't do that. You pair it with the Arc subclass tree, where when you dodge, you get your melee back, and when you melee, you get your dodge back. Yeah. So the exotic isn't doing that. The exotic just makes your melee more powerful. To be clear, but go ahead.
Yes, but
the way you said it was misleading. Like, oh, this exotic, does this, and
the exotic increases your damage if you get meleeed or if you're using an arc melee.
Yeah.
So basically, if a Titan hits you, you hit the Titan back. It's a one-hit melee with this.
No, it's not. It is not. Because this exotic, you have to prime it. You have no. You're being misleading. You're being misleading. If you have to hit once to prime it, and then the second hit is the big damage.
Yeah, he is great. You do have to melee twice for it to actually proc.
Thank you.
No, it depends on the resilience of the Guardian.
No, it doesn't. You don't. It doesn't. No, because
the exotic perk does not proc. Yeah. The exotic perk, you have to melee once or get meleeed yourself.
That's what I'm
which-
saying. If you get hit first, you can counter with a melee that will one shot.
If
better
you
be an
survive the
uncharged.
melee.
Yeah, it's like better be an uncharged Titan melee if that's what you're talking
Well,
about.
but if a Titan's standing next to you and they punch you, it's an uncharged melee.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No,
So yes,
you
it is.
have
It is a
one of
fun
your arc
counter,
melees
but
is
I
not a
will
running
say
one.
it is not working. It does not work in PvP too well because
No.
a lot of the times when they're meleeing you, you are already low. So it's
Mhm.
better. It works in PvP, but it works better if you are, I would say, meleeing twice to kill a guy is when it procs the best.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Cool Guy
Yes.
has a really cool
If
video.
you can land the
going over
first
this
melee
build.
is when I think is what he's getting at. Land that first melee, you'll be all right.
But like
If you
One
get
Eyed
hit
Mask,
first,
when you
you're
get
not
that
alright.
melee kill, you will get health regen, which is pretty cool. You stack it on top tree, Arc Strider, and with the
Bottom
dodge, like
tree.
Respawn said. No, top tree. Go top
Top-
tree.
Top tree's the combination blow.
Well, that's what you want.
No, you want the bottom tree, which gives
No.
you your abilities back
Look.
faster.
Is your name Cool Guy?
It's
Is your
not as
name Cool
good.
Guy? No,
It's not as
exactly.
good. Bottom tree's
He's not
better.
as good as you. No. Cool Guy says top tree.
Disorientation blow's better. Especially in PvP.
Look. Cool Guy's been doing this a lot longer than me or you. Put together.
I don't know how
So-
long he's been doing this. You're making a lot of assumptions there, bud.
Cool Guy's been around the block. Cool
Yeah,
Guy
well, how
knows
do
his
you
stuff.
know he hasn't? How do you know he hasn't played Destiny more than
Look,
any
he
of
just
us?
sounds like he was born on the block
including
last week.
Cool
Stop it.
Guy, right?
Anyway,
But he just doesn't make YouTube videos. You're making a lot of assumptions. You know what?
Mhm.
No. I agree with the not cool guy. How about that?
fair enough. Don't care. So there's also a build for the Warlocks and a one for the Titans using Insurmountable Skullfort, which
Oh,
will really
yeah.
please Respawn with
No,
one
I
shot
already know that
ability
build.
kills.
That build's been around since the beginning of D2.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a new build.
But as Cool Guy says, it's a very underutilized build,
Mm.
and you
Yeah,
don't see very much
infinite
of it.
one-shot melee.
You don't see it
very
in the Crucible
underutilized.
as much.
Mm-hmm.
Cheese Forever has a cool video this week just pointing out that Telesto is broken again in
No,
Trials.
it's sentient, sir.
Okay, sentient. So it's now decided to go against Bungie's ban and will work in solo trials if you want to use it, and it will still
Mhm.
do what it was doing before it was banned.
And if you're still not quite understanding what's happening, what he's saying is that Telesto has chosen to ignore the fact that Bungie has disabled it.
It's using Halo 1's oldest trick in the book. Attach grenades to teammate, let teammate die, but get kills.
Yeah.
No, the teammate doesn't die. It's like a bulletproof vest.
Yeah, no, they're invincible now.
Oh yeah, oh, that's right, because they
Yeah.
hit the Telesto bolts
And they can
themselves.
tank
Yeah.
supers too. Yeah, they can even tank Golden Gun. Yeah.
So yeah, load up your
Okay.
randoms in trials solo.
Teammate doesn't die this time. Better version of Halo 1.
Teammate
glitch.
is immortal.
Yeah. Teammate immortal explosions. Yeah.
One for new players. Evade has 10 plus mechanics that most new players don't know about, so that was quite interesting and fun to find out. Fallout Plays and Above both have the Grandmaster Exodus crash guides if you want to check those out. And Ibontis has his Shattered Realm Ruins of Waith solo legendary guide. And then I've got a couple of builds that round out Plunder the Booty did for Warlock, Titan, and Hunter. This week he's put out the solo Warlock build and the Void Titan build to go along with his Void Hunter build that we've highlighted a couple of weeks ago. And then finally, on YouTube, I've seen these kind of YouTube shorts. It's a bit like TikTok. There is a Hunter build to make you look like the Red Hood, and one for you to make you look like Miles Morales. So I will
Yeah,
also
I'm wearing the
include
Red
those.
Hood one right now.
I'll include those in the videos this week.
It actually does look pretty good too. And you can
Called
use
the
the Red Hood one
Uncultured
with a
ass what is
plethora
Red
of
Hood?
exotics. Red Hood is Evil Robin.
Ah, okay.
Actually, not Evil Robin. People are going to yell at me for that. It's Robin that doesn't care about killing people. There we go.
Do you know what the hood name is?
The Hood name? What do you mean? Like his actual name?
No, the cloak name that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. I'm wearing it right now. It's Iron Fellowship Cloak. No, that's not it. It's Renegade Hood. Renegade Hood is what you wear for that. I corrected myself, Golden. I said not evil. He He doesn't have the same moral code Batman does. Which happens if you're tortured by the Joker to near death, I guess.
So, is there anything else that you guys want to discuss?
Are you sure you don't want to do
What?
the lore for this week?
Absolutely.
He's already
You're
got it. He
absolutely
already has
sure?
to go through your rant respawn.
Yes, I've got to go through that
Okay.
rant and edit it down to like 2 minutes, so that the show's about an hour and 2 minutes long.
Mm,
So if I was Peroty, I would say thank you for joining us. Your Titan is Nitedemon. Your other Titan, who's not here, is Peroty. Your Hunter is No One Respawns in Real Life. And the other guys that turned up.
brought some soldiers. Introduce
AZ
yourself,
is the
guys.
only part of the respawn army.
Hey,
though.
it's all right if you don't remember our names. It's all right.
Yeah, AZPlayz. No, go ahead. Introduce yourselves. Say
Not
here I
introduce
am.
yourself. Say goodbye.
Okay, yeah,
You've done
say
it.
goodbye.
Hey,
No.
you got it
This is
backwards right now.
AZPlayz signing off for the final
No,
time.
yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'll be back eventually.
No, you
Are you
won't.
now?
You'll
I'll be back once you guys.
You'll be
once I
blocked.
fix my audio stuff.
You'll be blocked. Demon says no.
The master
So the
has
two
spoken.
guests this week were AZPlayz1128 and HurriKane Project. Your law scribe that is also hidden in the winds is not Arf. You can email the show at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. You can contact us on Twitter at twotitans_hunter. Instagram, it's 2titansandahunter. Facebook, again, 2titansandahunter. You can find all your favourite Guardians just on anywhere these days. Just go to thebungie.net and you can search us. You can find us. You can befriend
Agreed.
us. And you too could force your way onto a podcast like this.
Yeah. And for those of you that want to see everything live that he doesn't cut out, you got no one respawns in real life at twitch.tv or .twitch.tv or however the hell that works. And yeah, come watch us
But be
live.
advised, parents be advised, it is explicit. There are
It is.
there are
very
no
explicit.
dolphins or ducks involved in the making of that show.
Well, no, I have the warning on mine that says this is not for children. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you don't tell people that now.
no, okay, yeah, this is not for children.
But if you want to listen to the children-friendly version, you can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere fine podcasts are sold. You can watch the show on YouTube, which is also kid-friendly. And you can join the Discord if you dare at
To be clear, his
discord.frozen.party.
YouTube, the videos that I upload to my YouTube are the exact ones from the stream. Those are not kid-friendly. So,
No?
his YouTube, because I have a YouTube that
The Two
he's
Titans.
also- yeah,
Two
okay, the
Titans.
Two Titans YouTube. Yeah, that one is child-friendly. Yes. Yes.
Nobody's talking about yours.
Well, no, because, there are some people that find me here and find me there. I'm just like that. They're the same videos. They're the same.
Find the
Naughty mouth.
child-friendly version of us, including No One Respawns in Real Life on YouTube.
Yeah.
Two Titans and a Hunter.
Agreed.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us and joining in the conversation and the rant. Say goodbye.
Deuces.
Bye. Thanks for allowing us on the podcast.
One of you will be invited back. The other one of you will need to get a better microphone and not have the brother in the room at the same time. And I'm going to need you two to guess which one of them is you and which one of you is not you.
Man. HurriKane, you gotta fix those problems, man.
Yeah,
man, I
clearly.
gotta find my ghost of a brother in this room somewhere. I don't know what brother's here.
I got the noise suppression stuff on, but I don't know.
Have you tried putting a blanket over yourself?
I can.
Sorry, what?
I can do that. I can do that.
Hide under a blanket and see how that
Here,
sounds.
let me go get one.
Are you just messing with him, Demon?
No, that's an old trick actually.
Is it really?
Works the
Alright.
same as those pads that streamers put on the wall, pretty much, but a lot closer.
Gotcha.
In fact, why don't you go and get a blanket and you try it on